health sector. Meanwhile, in terms of geographical context, Brunei, which is strategically located on the island of Borneo, is smaller than Indian states like Sikkim and Tripura, but its Sultan's immense wealth and lavish lifestyle has repeatedly grabbed attention. In fact, the second longest reigning monarch in the world after the UK's Queen Elizabeth II, Bolkiah reportedly has a net worth of $30 billion, that's billion with a B. And Brunei is rich in oil and natural gas reserves, as has been highlighted by the MEA as well. But the most important aspect of Bolkiah's luxurious lifestyle that grabs eyeballs is actually his private car collection that's valued at about $5 billion. And it also includes a gold-coated Rolls-Royce and about 450 Ferraris and 380 Bentleys, believe it or not. My colleague Mohammed Ghazali has been tracking this visit very closely. He joins us live at the moment. Ghazali, as we've been discussing, India has been vocal and the MEA has said that we'd like to have more predictable hydrocarbon supplies with longer-term contracts from Brunei, especially in the area of gas. Take us through the key takeaways so far as the Prime Minister's touchdown is concerned.
See, you saw the Prime Minister being visited by the Crown Prince there, by the Prince of Brunei, and the Prime Minister also went to the Indian High Commission for inaugurating one of the Chancellor, a new building there, and then the visit to a mosque, which was built by the father of the current or the sitting Sultan there. And his father was also kind of inspired by the Mughal architecture back here in India. So there was an India connect as well. So the Prime Minister, now having visited all these places, will hold a bilateral talk with the Sultan of Brunei. And why this is very significant, because India and Brunei have very close relationship. We are importing hydrocarbon from Brunei. And in the near future, as MEA had issued in a statement saying that perhaps India will also be looking towards Brunei for its energy needs for natural gas import from Brunei. Besides that, India already has a satellite tracking station there in Brunei, which tracks our eastward launches of satellites and all. And India will start training or assist Brunei in space research and technology. So once we are providing them research and technology training, they are providing us a space to establish they have already provided us a space to establish our ground station to monitor our satellites there. But besides that, in this particular meeting, it is expected that our defense cooperation will be much more deeper, because the joint working group is expected to be constituted between India and Brunei. And that will be one of the key areas of focus between India and Brunei. Why this is relevant? Because we know that how India is now diversifying and reducing its reliance for defense procurement from one of the partners. So we have defense partnerships in Europe as well, and we are having it back here in Asia as well. So it is one of the key partners of India in Asia. And also from the point of view of our Act East policy, neighborhood first policy, we are also trying to stay in touch, warm our ties with all those countries in the Asian region, so that to counter the influence of China as well. So from that perspective as well, from maritime security point of view, Brunei is very relevant as far as its geostrategic location in the center of Indo-Pacific Ocean is concerned. So from that point of view also, a coordination between India and Brunei when it comes to maritime security or defense cooperation or space technology. These are three key areas besides the trade, healthcare, and also one very important fact which should not be ignored, that out of a very tiny population of 4 to 5 lakh population of Brunei, Indians are like around 14,000. The diaspora population is 14,000, and most of them are in very notable profession. Some are teachers, some are doctors. So that is also going to be a soft power of India as far as the presence in Brunei is concerned.
As always, Ghazali, thanks so much for joining us with the lowdown. We also have with us the President of the Indian Association in Brunei, Salimo Karim. Thanks so much for joining us on the World 24/7. As my colleague Ghazali has just briefly taken us through the fact that the Indian footprint is about 14,000 in Brunei, the contribution of Indian doctors and teachers as far as the growth and development of Brunei's healthcare and education sectors has also been well acknowledged. But what impact do you think the Prime Minister's touchdown is likely to assert?
Sorry, am I on now?
Yes, sir, you are audible and we can see you clearly.
Can you repeat it once more, because I wasn't listening now? Can
So
you
I was
repeat it once?
mentioning, like my colleague Ghazali has just taken us through the fact that the Indian footprint is a significant 14,000, considering the limited population in Brunei. The acknowledgement as far as the healthcare sector and the education sector has also been made. But what impact do you particularly think the Prime Minister's touchdown is likely to assert?
Okay then, good morning NDTV. Let me introduce myself. My name is Salimo. I'm the president of the Indian Association of Applied. I've been the president for 25 years and I'm the Indian community leader down here. Okay, the impact of Modi being here is very significant because why? He might be the first prime minister to visit Brunei for a long time. His visit down here comes together with so many things that he's going to sign some memorandum with India. So you can see we can start off this event from him by signing all the memorandums, and I think in terms of agriculture, in terms of our security of a country and other commercial areas like agriculture and all that, all will come into play because
Right.
we know that India got so many technologies that is good for our country.
Right, bilateral trade though between India and Brunei has witnessed a close to $330 million dip from 2021. This is obviously against the backdrop of India sourcing more oil from Russia and less from Brunei. Let's see. We'll keep a close watch on the significant takeaways with the Prime Minister's touchdown. Thank you so much, Mr. Karim, for joining us. With that, let's turn our attention now to what's happening as far as the Russia-Ukraine war is concerned. Well, a Russian missile strike killed more than 50 people and injured scores of others on Tuesday, Ukrainian officials said, the latest in a series of devastating bombardments of Ukraine and one of the deadliest attacks of the 2.5-year war. In fact, 2 ballistic missiles hit a military academy and a neighboring hospital in the eastern Ukraine city of Poltava. This is what Zelensky has also confirmed. And Ukraine's Prosecutor General's office said 51 people were killed and rescue efforts were ongoing. The missiles struck with an unforgiving quickness, we're told. The Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported that the gap between the sounding of warning sirens and the strike was actually so short that many people were killed on their way to shelter. Here's what Mr. Zelensky had to say.
Обов'язково російська наволоч відповість за цей удар. Ми знову і знову кажемо усім у світі, хто має силу, щоб зупинити цей терор. Системи ППО і ракети до них потрібні в Україні, а не десь там на складі. Далекобійні удари, які можуть захистити від російського терору, необхідні зараз, а не колись потім. Кожен день зволікання – це, на жаль, загибель людей.
Meanwhile, Mongolia's failure to arrest Vladimir Putin on an international criminal court warrant dealt a heavy blow to the international criminal law system. This is what Ukraine's foreign ministry said as the Russian president arrived for talks likely to focus on a new gas pipeline connecting Russia and China. Ukrainian foreign ministry spokesperson has gone on record to say Mongolia has allowed an accused criminal to evade justice, thereby sharing responsibility for the war crimes. In other news, the US Justice Department has charged several Hamas leaders, including the group's head Yahya Sinwar, in connection with kidnapping and murdering American citizens during this 7th of October attack in Israel. It's actually the first step by the DOJ to hold the militant group accountable for orchestrating a deadly rampage, and US Attorney General Merrick Garland warned these actions will not be our last. Unlike his response to the war in Ukraine, where the DOJ actually mobilized an entire team to investigate war crimes, Mr. Garland has been nearly silent on the war in Gaza, despite experts largely agreeing the Justice Department has a strong case against Hamas.
Today, the Justice Department unsealed charges against Yahya Sinwar and other senior leaders of Hamas for financing and directing a decades-long campaign to murder American citizens and endanger the security of the United States. As outlined in our complaint, those defendants, armed with weapons, political support, and funding from the government of Iran and support from Hezbollah, have led Hamas's efforts to destroy the state of Israel and murder civilians in support of that aim.
Meanwhile, the White House has confirmed that it had been informed of the UK's decision before it was announced and said that it did not affect American military support for Israel. This is after the UK limited certain arms sales to Israel. In fact, John Kirby said that they did give us a heads up that they had arrived at the decision and were going to announce the decision. So the National Security Council spokesman in the US said that they were indeed aware. Here's what Matthew Miller had to say.
Came to this conclusion. We have reviews that are ongoing. I don't want to prejudge what those reviews will conclude, but we are looking at a number of possible violations of international humanitarian law, and we'll make our own assessments based on our own review of the facts and our own judgments on our law as well as international humanitarian law.
Meanwhile, Mr. Netanyahu has condemned the UK government's decision to suspend some arms export licenses to Israel, describing it as a shameful decision that would embolden a genocidal Hamas. The Israeli Prime Minister said his country was at war to also protect British hostages and vowed the UK measures would not prevent it from winning the war in Gaza. For further clarity, we have with us international affairs expert Kamaraga. Thank you so much, sir, as always, for making time for us. Now, while the Labour government's decision has been facing a growing domestic backlash from all sides, is a deep diplomatic rift between Israel and the UK now likely?
Yeah, it's not much, because Britain is a very important and strategic ally of Israel. These are, friendly gestures, you can say, friendly. I don't think, ties are going to be affected. This is Prime Minister's personal views about Britain. Britain is one country which maintains not only strategic ties, but also send its naval forces around in that region to protect Israel. And in fact, when Israel was attacked by Iranians, it was the British, American, and French forces which virtually gunned down Iranian missiles and drones. So I mean, they have a very deep ties. Britain has helped establish Israel in 1948. It was so. I don't think ties are going to be affected. These are just a statement, issued by the Prime Minister, and he thinks, that it's not fair because since Britain is a very old and strategic ally of Israel.
Right, sir, but exempting the F-35 fighter jet program, essentially giving this program a blank check to continue despite knowing that F-35s are being used extensively in Gaza. Some actually are saying that the UK suspension of this arms exports is too limited and riddled with loopholes. Would you say this is a terrible decision for the future of arms control, and it also misses a clear obligation to hold Israel accountable for its war crimes?
Yes, in a way you can say, but it's basically a symbolic, 30 items out of 350, they have suspended their supplies. And most of these are basically spare parts used in fighter bombers or drones, mostly in these two sectors. Thirdly, the Britain is doesn't want to disrupt supplies of other items, but they said it is not a blanket ban on British supplies to arms supplies to Israel. They said it is not an arm embargo also. So arms will continue to flow into Israel from Britain or France or even United States. There are certain items which they don't want to say. The reason is, Parmeshwar, there's tremendous pressure from the public in Britain. These are the people, who have basically voted for Labour Party, the ruling Labour Party. They want, government should take some steps, and in fact, the Labour Party has promised, when they will come to the power, they will take certain actions against Israel. So it is in that we must see in that connection this step was taken, and it's a very temporary thing. It's not going to last long because number of reasons, which we have mentioned earlier.
Thank you so much, as always, sir, for joining us with those quick comments. Many are also arguing that this marks a shift in British foreign policy away from being lockstep with Washington when it comes to support for Israel. But we'll keep a close eye on all the developments. The UK sends Israel explosives, guns, and fighter jet components. But it isn't one of Israel's main suppliers, I must inform our viewers. In fact, the United States and Germany are Israel's biggest weapon suppliers. We'll keep tracking the latest for you. For now, we're slipping into a very short break. Back in a moment with much more. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra comes with Google Gemini.
Hi, I'm Shreya Saran. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate. Let's rebuild Wayanad.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. "10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgency, to stop breathing with difficulty, to relieve getting choked with inactivity. Energize our government, our environment, our society, and ourselves. Everyone, everywhere, every day. Banega Swasth India. One world hygiene.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Landslide.
Welcome back. The 9th edition of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation is to take place from today till the 6th of September in Beijing. The event comes at a time when African nations are facing multiple issues such as high inflation, currency depreciation, a heavy debt burden, unconstitutional military takeovers, and geopolitical challenges such as the Israel-Hamas and Russia-Ukraine wars, and attacks by Houthi rebels on commercial shipping in the Mediterranean Sea. Moreover, a sense of summit fatigue has seeped into the mindset of African leaders following multiple recent Africa Plus summits with Russia, South Korea, and the US-Africa Leaders Summit. Rather than having 54 leaders attend following the Banjul format of 15 countries plus the African Union Commission is more prudent, many argue. In other news, a former aide to 2 New York governors has been charged with spying on behalf of the Chinese government. Linda Sun held numerous posts within the New York state government, including Deputy Chief of Staff for Governor Kathy Hochul and Deputy Diversity Officer for former Governor Andrew Cuomo. She was arrested on Tuesday morning in Long Island along with her husband. A quick update from New Zealand now. New Zealand will nearly triple entry fees for tourists, the government has said, spurring criticism from the key tourism sector that the higher levy will deter visitors. The government has actually said in a statement it would increase the international visitor and conservation and tourism fee starting 1st of October. It will be $100, that's about 61.8 US dollars from a $35. It was $35, so that's about over $60 hike to ensure visitors contribute to public services and high quality experiences while they are visiting New Zealand. But Australians and travellers from most Pacific nations are exempt from this latest levy. Switching tracks, more than 100 people were killed while trying to escape from a prison in the capital of the Democratic Republic. This is early in the hours of Monday, the security minister has confirmed, but 129 people had died and 59 others were injured in this escape attempt at Makala prison. 24 of those who died were killed by gunfire, while the others lost their lives in a crush during the total chaos. And let's get you the latest as far as the World Bank's forecast for the Indian economy is concerned. The World Bank has upgraded India's growth forecast. In fact, India's the fastest growing economy in the financial year 23-24 at 8.2%. This is what the World Bank says, further adding that the growth will remain strong as India has significant untapped potential to leverage international trade for development. Sakshi Bajaj has the lowdown for you.
The World Bank has just upgraded India's growth forecast to 7% for FY24-25 from the earlier projection of 6.6%. To decode what this means, what has led to the growth upgrade really, we are joined by Country Director India of the World Bank, Mr. August Kwame. Thank you very much for your time. First, for our viewers to understand, what has led to this upgrade really in the growth projection?
Thank you, Sakshi. As we know, the recent numbers that were released were very positive for India's growth going forward with the strong first quarter. And it's no surprise that we expect growth to be stronger than we had initially thought in our last IDU. And one of the reasons why we have upgraded our forecast from 6.6 to 7 for the coming year is that we think global trade is recovering and will recover a bit faster than we had initially anticipated. So if global trade picks up, India will benefit from it. And we know that India has been doing very well despite a very challenging global environment. But if this global environment improves slightly, it will benefit India. And we hope this will be a trend, this trend will continue. Right. The second reason why we upgraded our forecast is that agriculture is also doing pretty well. Agriculture did, situation was very difficult last year, but with the monsoon and the fact that farmers have been patient and stayed the course, and the price of fertilizers have also helped. We think that there will be a pickup in agricultural growth this coming year. So these two, trade and agriculture, will really help.
Really, the latest study by the World Bank mentions that the labor market has improved, but youth unemployment remains elevated. How do you think India can address this? Yes, measures were announced in the budget, but how do you think we can see implementation on the ground?
Well, first, let's focus on the positive. Youth unemployment was at a peak during the pandemic or immediately after the pandemic. And it has declined significantly, coming from well over 20, close to 30%, to now 16.5, 17%. It is still high, 17%, but it is much lower than what it was a few years ago. So there is progress. Now, where to go from here? Yes, of course, India will want a youth unemployment that is much lower because India has a young population, many of them well-trained, and they can power the economy going forward.
New day, new show, a new experience.
Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your life.
News that informs and keeps you ahead. From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of power, Delhi.
NDTV brings you the best breakfast show.
Breakfast news on NDTV, 8 a.m. every day.
Hi, I'm Shreya Saran. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate. Let's rebuild Wayanad.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. "10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgency, to stop breathing with difficulty, to relieve getting choked with inactivity. Energize our government, our environment, our society, and ourselves. Everyone, everywhere, every day. Banega Swasth India. One world hygiene.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
New day, new show, a new experience.
Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that Good morning and welcome. You're watching The Breakfast Show. I'm Rishika Barua joining you from the Delhi studios. And with me this morning is my colleague Radhika Ramaswamy joining us from Mumbai. Radhika, very good morning to you. Take it away.
Very good morning to you, Rishika. In fact, over the next 1 hour, Rishika and I plan to bring you all the latest news and updates. But first, the headlines. Bombay High Court to hear plea on emergency. Zee Entertainment moves High Court over film certification. Plea alleges CBFC illegally withheld certification. 2-judge bench to hear the matter today.
The West Bengal government over the Kolkata rape case in the Supreme Court. Now the Home Ministry tells the Supreme Court that the West Bengal government is posing hurdles for the CISF at the RG Kar hospital. The Home Ministry maintains that the West Bengal government should extend full support.
Her in 2017, actor Nivin Pauly booked for rape.
It's a unique protest in the state of Madhya Pradesh. This is a story from the Neemuch district where a man wears garlands of complaints and rolls into a government office. Says he had repeated complaints against the village sarpanch that were ignored. So he finds a unique way to register his protest.
Prime Minister Modi in Brunei to boost strategic ties. Prime Minister to head to Singapore after Brunei. Building trade and technological ties was at the top of agenda as Prime Minister Modi landed in the capital of Brunei. This is part of a two-nation tour this week, which will also take him to Singapore.
Athletes usher in a medal rush for India. The Paris Paralympics 2024, India achieves its highest ever Paralympics tally. Silver and bronze medals for India in javelin and high jump.
All right, first up, the big story as far as the film Emergency is concerned. Zee Entertainment Enterprises, Rishika, the co-makers of the film, has in fact moved the Bombay High Court seeking a direction to the CBFC to issue a certificate for the film. In fact, they have petitioned before the Bombay High Court seeking an official copy of film certification from the CBFC. Rishika, this film has been embroiled in all kinds of controversy. Earlier, of course, it was Madhya Pradesh High Court, in fact, giving certain directions after some Sikh organizations approached Madhya Pradesh High Court. Now, of course, the makers approaching the Bombay High Court seeking certificate for the film.
Well, absolutely. And Radhika, of course, you know more about what's really happening as far as this story is concerned. But, you know, Zee has essentially claimed that despite being informed of the film certification on August the 29th, the CBFC is yet to provide a formal copy of the certification. So that's really where the row is. They've, of course, filed a petition in the Bombay High Court alleging that the CBFC has illegally withheld the certification. So is this just a question of the fact that the certification has been granted but a formal copy has not been provided, or is there more that meets the eye? Radhika, I think that's the big question, but it's going to come up in the court today. And this film, before it's even released, like you're saying, is embroiled in so much controversy. Let's go across to Anuj joining us from Mumbai with the latest. Anuj, Zee is essentially seeking urgent relief from the court, saying that, you know, the certification has been granted in principle, but they don't have the parcha, so to speak, in their hand yet. Is that really the controversy here, or is there more that meets the eye?
See, this, what you stated here is the primary, is the base of all the controversies as far as the film is concerned. The Madhya Pradesh High Court was, in fact, according to several reports, informed by the CBFC yesterday about the status of the certification of the film. The CBFC said that the film is actually yet to be certified. And according to the Zee Studios, they've been provided with information regarding certification, but via a mail, that is via online methods, but then they haven't received a physical copy yet. And for them, it is a two-way thing. Firstly, it would cause them irreparable financial damages, is what they're saying. And secondly, it is a violation of the Cinematograph Act, which states that the certification should be provided in a prescribed format within 5 days after the submission of the film. After the film was submitted, of course, the CBFC did, convey the information regarding the certification of the film to the producers and those responsible from the Zee Studios, but a physical copy is yet to be given. And as a result of that, we can see that the Zee Studios has filed a plea in the Bombay High Court asking for an urgent release of the certification, which, according to them, has been withheld illegally by the CBFC. A two-judge bench will hear this case today afternoon in the Bombay High Court, which includes Justice Kolabawala and Justice Pooniwala. And the Zee Studios would be expecting something to go in their favor, because the original release date of the film was the 6th of September. But considering what communication has happened between the CBFC and the Madhya Pradesh High Court, it is highly unlikely that the film will be releasing on its original date, and that will definitely put the producers of the film under huge financial constraints. And that is the major crux of their argument, which they will be presenting in front of the Bombay High Court. The entire controversy began after several PILs were filed against the film in Madhya Pradesh and Punjab, especially by several Sikh communities after the trailer of the film released, and the basis of their complaints was the inappropriate representation of the Sikhs in the film. Now, all these points will be considered. The communication done between the CBFC and the Madhya Pradesh High Court will also be considered before the Bombay High Court today afternoon.
That's right, Anuj. In fact, the plea alleging, Rishika, as we've been mentioning, that CBFC has illegally and arbitrarily withheld the certification. So, in a way, it states that the certification was granted. However, the physical part was not given to them.
Yes.
Now, this is one petition, of course, that before the Bombay High Court. As far as Madhya Pradesh High Court is concerned, there are other directions given whereby it has asked the CBFC to consider the questions or objections raised by the parties there, raised by the petitioners there. So will that be a part of the argument today? That remains to be seen.
Yes.
But we believe, Anuj, this will come up for hearing at about 11 a.m. before a division bench of the Bombay High Court.
Yes, it will come up at around 11 a.m. In the Bombay High Court, and as we've been saying since some time, the entire crux of this argument will be if the Bombay High Court gives some sort of relief to the Z Studios and gives them a clearance for a release on the 6th of September, and if it is able to put any pressure on the CBFC, considering that although the information was provided according to the Z Studios a few days ago, why hasn't a physical copy been provided to them yet? So the Cinematograph Act will also be considered amongst other things, and the financial constraints will also be taken into consideration by the Bombay High Court.
But what's interesting is that the Central Board of Film Certification had responded to the Madhya Pradesh High Court when that petition was filed, saying that, there are several factors that are still under consideration, and therefore, objections against the movie will be considered before clearing it. That, in a certain sense, Radhika, points to the fact that clearance is not a given. It remains to be seen today in the Bombay High Court what the Central Board of Film Certification has to say, because remember, it is the makers of the film and Z Entertainment that are claiming that, the clearance has been given in principle and we are yet to just get that formal sort of clearance for the film. But the CBFC in the MP High Court, in the Madhya Pradesh High Court, has very clearly said that, look, we are still to consider the objections. Clearance has not been given. So the key question today that is going to be answered is, has the film been cleared or not been cleared? Right, Radhika?
Absolutely. The key question is that whether the film has been cleared or not. And as you said, yes, while on the other one hand, you have the filmmaker saying the film has been cleared, it's just the physical copy that's not been given.
Yeah.
You're right. What the CBFC has said before the Madhya Pradesh High Court is that there is no clearance given. They are still considering all the objections. So that is still under process. Yes, you're right. That will be clear before the Bombay High Court. And Anuj will keep bringing us updates.
Of course. And Radhika,
starts.
the timing of this film also very interesting. Of course, you're closely looking at all the political moves and developments in Maharashtra ahead of the elections. There are state elections in at least 4 states that are due before the end of the year. And this is, a film that is based on the emergency. Presumably, it will be scathing against the Congress. So the timing of all of this and the politics of all of this is also something that we can't really ignore. We're going to keep a close watch on this story. Of course, Radhika will track it for us, so will Anuj. Let's shift our focus now, Radhika, to the other big development we're tracking from West Bengal. This continues to remain a top focus for us here on the Breakfast Show. The RJ Kar Hospital suo moto case. That's a crucial case that we're going to monitor in the Supreme Court today, as the centre has filed a fresh plea now against the West Bengal government, seeking directions to the West Bengal government to extend full support to the CISF, to initiate contempt or contempt proceedings will be initiated against the government. So, it's a full-blown war between the centre and the West Bengal government, Radhika, and now that war is in the Supreme Court.
Certainly, big charge there by the centre, alleging that CISF personnel meant for providing security of hospital is facing huge issues of accommodation. Also alleging that lady contingent is not getting proper accommodation and place for keeping security, gadgets and transportation. So yes, this is of course, war of words, or rather, it is centre versus state as far as the security outside RJ Kar is concerned. We'll have to wait and see what happens in the apex court, Ishika.
Let's go across to Sunil Prabhu now joining us with the very latest. Sunil's of course going to track the story very closely in the Supreme Court. Sunil, it's a full-blown war essentially between Mamata Banerjee and Amit Shah. Let's make no mistake. But what's really happening in the Supreme Court? What's the key contention as far as this battle in court is concerned?
Well, I'm not too sure personally whether it will be taken up in the Supreme Court because whether this Chief Justice of India's court will sit where they had taken suo motu notice. So this is a plea that has come from the Home Ministry against, as you rightly pointed out, the West Bengal government. Call it Amit Shah versus Mamata Banerjee or whatever you may. The fact is that this is in compliance with the Supreme Court norms and the Supreme Court direction to have CISF at RG Kar. That was the direction, that was the clear thing. Whether this comes in a gray area, whether they have to provide, accommodation to the CISF staff, the security gadgets, those are certain things that we'll have to wait and watch and see whether the MHA plea is accepted by the Supreme Court. Because how does a state government, which does not have the required accommodation provided to the CISF, just because of a direction that you have to take over the security of the hospital. It can be within a distance of, a few meters. How long is this CISF deployment? Is it going to be on a continuous basis just because the Chief Justice and his bench have decided? Is it going to be for months or years? Those are certain directions have to be taken. It's in that context, we'll have to wait and see how things play out. It's definitely a huge contention because please remember, in the Constitution of India, law and order is number one. It's because of the Supreme Court direction that CISF has taken over the RG Kar. But does it mean that they have to also provide accommodation? Do they have to also provide the equipment and the security apparatus that the CISF requires? Who pays for that? All these issues need to be resolved, and we'll get further clarity once the Supreme Court takes up this matter.
All right, so it remains to be seen whether this matter will be taken up by the Supreme Court. Thank you, Sunil Prabhu, for bringing us all those details. Let's move on now to West Bengal. Rishika, West Bengal Health Department has in fact suspended RG Kar Medical College and Hospital's former principal, Dr. Sandeep Ghosh.
Well, absolutely. Sandeep Ghosh and 3 others, Radhika, they've of course been sent to that 8-day CBI custody as we've been reporting. But what's interesting here is that this is all happening in the financial irregularities case. As far as the criminal investigation is concerned, remember, doctors are still protesting because they believe that justice has truly not been, meted out yet. So I think that's going to be really interesting to see how this actually plays out. But it's been several weeks since the gruesome rape and murder of that junior doctor at the RG Kar hospital. And this, of course, Radhika, sparked protest across the country. In fact, you reported extensively on the protest that took place in Mumbai as well. The protest really spiraled completely, across all cities because it united doctors in a certain sense. Now, the West Bengal Assembly, interestingly, Radhika, has passed a new bill, a new law to ensure maximum punishment for all rape cases where the punishment will be death penalty in jail. Interestingly, Radhika, just yesterday you were reporting on the Shakti bill in Maharashtra as well. Yes. And there were protests because the Shakti bill also is demanding stringent punishment, but it's still awaiting presidential nod for the last 2-3 years. What's going on?
Certainly, as far as Shakti Bill is concerned, it was something that was passed in Maharashtra legislature sometime in 2021. It's been more than 3 years.
Right.
But no approval, no nod from the president, which is why yesterday, of course, MV and the opposition taking it up, protesting. Now, as far as the bill in West Bengal is concerned, the law will also provision for a time-bound trial and an enhanced compensation or fine, something similar to Shakti Bill.
Yes.
Now, Mamata Banerjee, of course, calling the law historic, but when will it be implemented? We're not sure. Andhra Pradesh and Maharashtra, as we've been mentioning, have passed similar laws, but have not yet received assent from the president.
Immediate execution of this bill.
No break from the politics as the West Bengal Legislative Assembly debated a new law to combat sexual crimes like rape. Even as the bill was passed with support from both the opposition and the ruling party, the Trinamool and the BJP took on each other, with the BJP targeting Mamata Banerjee, accusing her of downplaying rapes in the past. Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee hit back, citing incidents in other states.
Correct information, I don't have any problem.
কিন্তু যদি দেখেন wrong information, misleading information, disinformation and distorted information and destructive information and provocative information, then speaker has the right to deal it. মনে আছে আপনাদের, কেউ তো একবারও স্বীকার করলেন না উন্নাওয়ের কথা। এটা ফ্যাক্ট যে আজকে প্রতিদিন দেশে প্রায় 90টি ধর্ষণের ঘটনা ঘটে, তার মধ্যে অনেকেরই মৃত্যু ঘটে, খুব বেদনাদায়ক। উত্তরপ্রদেশের ঝাঁসিতে চলন্ত গাড়িতে 17 বছরের মেয়ে ধর্ষিতা হয়েছে।
আপনাকে বলি, এই বিল আনার উদ্দেশ্য কি? উদ্দেশ্য হচ্ছে জনমত। সরকার এই বিপুল জনবিক্ষোভ, গণরোষ, ঘৃণা, ক্রোধ এই জায়গা থেকে ইস্যু ডাইভার্ট করতে চাইছেন আপনারা।
As the BJP pushed for immediate implementation of the bill, the Chief Minister asked the Leader of Opposition to ensure the Governor does not delay it. The new law mandates setting up of an Aprajita task force headed by a DSP rank officer. It also mandates completion of the investigation of offences within 21 days and also mandates the maximum punishment for rape, life term or death.
Will this bill, which has been passed with political consensus, get assent from the President or Governor, or will it meet the fate of similar bills that have been passed by other states but are still waiting for presidential assent? With camera person G.D. Shankar in Kolkata, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
For more on this, we're joined by Saurabh Gupta. Saurabh, this is a historic bill that has been passed by the legislature, but the big question is, will it face the same fate as Shakti bill in Maharashtra, which is yet to receive a nod from the president?
That's right. Whether it's the Shakti bill in Maharashtra, whether it's the Disha bill in Andhra Pradesh, or whether it's, the Aprajita Women and Child Amendment to Criminal Laws Bill, West Bengal 2024, all these bills have a very, very focused objective of ensuring stricter punishment, time-bound trials, etc., in cases of sexual assault and rape. However, some of the stringent measures of these bills can also be, in conflict with some of the existing provisions of the law and also existing principles of natural justice. And therefore, there is a lot of thinking on those, and some of those bills have not received assent. For example, the case you were highlighting, Maharashtra. Now, whether West Bengal bill gets its assent or not is something that we will have to wait and watch for. But the fact is that even in West Bengal, which is such a politically the political atmosphere is always very, very aggressive here. Even in such an atmosphere, there, of course, has been political consensus on the bill. Yes, there were amendments moved. Yes, whether those amendments were accepted or not. Yes, there were allegations and counter-allegations. But at the end of the day, the BJP and the Trinamool both have come together to pass the bill. And once that kind of political consensus is there, there is, of course, added responsibility on the powers that be to make these laws, make these bills laws and turn them into laws and implement them. And that is something that perhaps West Bengal, Maharashtra are all looking at. And important to note that, this bill, of course, will now be sent for that assent. So whether it joins the list of pending bills like Maharashtra's or whether it gets assent is something that will also perhaps become a precedent for such laws in the future, because these are areas in the concurrent list. Law and order is a state subject, and of course, this new criminal laws to which these amendments have been brought are, of course, laws that have been passed by Parliament. So it is going to be interesting to see what happens now.
All right. Thank you, Saurabh, for bringing us all those details. It will be interesting to see what happens now. Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra passing similar laws but have not received any approval from the president yet. Will this bill in Kolkata, in fact, by the West Bengal Assembly, will that in fact face the same fate? That remains to be seen. Rishika.
Well, absolutely. That is going to be the key question now. And let's shift our focus now to the next big development that we're tracking, Radhika. And that's, of course, the latest in the Me Too movement, where a case has been filed against actor Alancia. The Ernakulam police station has registered a case on the complaint of a young actress. The complaint says that Alancia sexually assaulted her in Bangalore in 2017. A special investigation team will now conduct the investigation. And the Me Too storm against actor Alancia, but he's not the only actor. There are so many other actors, including several top stars, Radhika, that continue to remain in the dock.
Yes, absolutely. Of course, Me Too movement in Malayalam film industry, of course, taking the nation by storm. I mean, we're seeing one after the other cases against film artists, actors. Now, of course, a fresh case being filed against actor Alancia. Ernakulam police registering a case on the complaint of a young actress. And besides that, of course, a case against Nivin Pauly as well. So Me Too storm really hitting Mollywood. And now Nivin Pauly being booked for rape. Police, they're saying FIR registered against the actor under various sections, including section 376. In fact, the incident happening in November last year in a hotel in Dubai. So yes, multiple allegations against actors, one after the other. Every day we're seeing this in Malayalam film industry.
Right. Radhika, let's go right across to Uma Sudhir, tracking the details of this story. Uma, you've been tracking this story now for over a fortnight. Naveen Pauly, the latest actor, against whom rape charges have been filed. He's, of course, denied any wrongdoing. But this is a storm that continues to rage every passing day with fresh complaints, coming to light. More and more women speaking out, some publicly, some going and just filing complaints.
Yes, indeed. So Nivin Pauly is a big star, the Premam star as he's called. He had starred along with Sai Pallavi in that film, and of course several other successful films. And he has in fact alleged some kind of a conspiracy because of which he is being named in this particular case by an actress. And he in fact held a press conference yesterday and said that I want to put this out in the public domain, saying that I have no reason to believe that I have done anything wrong at all, and therefore I am going to go to the bottom of this. What he has said is that he is going to take this up legally because he believes that there is a conspiracy. In this particular case, he has been named as an accused number 6 by the police. In this case, the accused number 1 incidentally happens to be a woman called Shreya, who is supposed to have taken this victim survivor to another place where she was offered a role, and subsequently other than the producer as well in this case, who's been booked as accused number 2 in this case, and subsequently Nivin Pauly becoming accused number 6. All these are non-bailable cases, and that's the reason why many of them we are seeing, like Siddiq and Ranjit as well, have gone to the court seeking orders against their arrest on the basis of the complaints that are being made. Mr. Ranjit was in fact the first of the actors to be named in these cases. He has in fact gone to court saying that he is not just not guilty in this case, but he's also said that he has several ailments, including a liver transplant that he had undergone, and therefore he should not be arrested in this particular case. I must point out not just the Me Too allegations in the sexual harassment case in the film industry. There is some other big drive that's happening in Kerala, and that is against child pornography. An operation that is being called P, that is something that has in fact led to the arrest of as many as 37 people. Raids and searches are being carried out everywhere against people who are in fact looking at this or storing this or sharing this. As you know, child pornography is also a big area of concern, and that's a crackdown that the Kerala government is also undertaking at the same time, because attitudes that are formed about sexual perversion or about respect neither to a woman, it could be a man as well, or a child. All those cases in a sense, should I say, being looked at by the Kerala government and the authorities there.
All right, Uma, thanks very much for joining us with that update. We're of course going to keep coming back to you for more updates on that story. Let's quickly shift our focus now. Radhika, big developments taking place with a Thane rape case now that has really stunned the entire nation. In this rape case, the Bombay High Court has essentially said, Beta Padhao, Beti Bachao. So that's an interesting twist to the slogan that was given by the Modi government. It was, of course, a campaign slogan to educate the girl child. But the Bombay High Court has said that it is imperative to educate sons as they hear this molestation horror. Radhika, what's the latest you're picking up from the court?
That's right. In fact, when Bombay High Court was hearing the suo motu PIL that was filed as far as this entire Badlapur sexual assault case is concerned, which is when yesterday the Bombay High Court during its third hearing made that observation saying beta padhao or beti bachao should be priority, educate sons, protect daughters, teach young boys to respect women. This is something that the court had been reiterating ever since the hearing in the suo motu PIL began. In fact, this is of course coming after this horrific incident where two toddlers were in fact sexually assaulted by a staffer from their own school. Let's go across to Anuj on this. Anuj, of course, we've been covering this case since the last several weeks. Of course, Bombay High Court's third hearing is what we saw yesterday, again making some pertinent observations. So what we can say quite confidently is that the High Court is not just pulling up the police or the state government over what it calls is a shoddy investigation in the case, but is also looking at some societal reforms, which is why, you know, it asked for that committee to be formed and, you know, two retired judges to be heading the committee and so on. So it's looking at some fundamental change as far as societal reforms are concerned and not just looking into this particular case. Anuj.
It indeed is. If you look at what happened in the Bombay High Court yesterday in its third hearing regarding the suo motu hearing of the Badlapur case, three major developments took place. Firstly, the fact that they again reiterated, on the fact that it's imperative that the boy child should also be educated in a particular way so that they behave in a particular way and make the women around them feel safe. Now, this is something that the Bombay High Court has been saying since day one of this suo motu hearing. Secondly, they took track of, they looked at the development of the formation of a committee to kind of make special recommendations when it comes to POCSO Act. We saw in the second hearing the court come down very heavily on the on the AG, Mr. Saraf, and say that ask him about the development in this particular regard. And yesterday we saw that a committee has finally been put in place where several retired officials, including several former educators, have also been included. One interesting point here is the fact that they've also included a former principal from a rural school, showing that the court is very aware of the fact that there are several such cases which come from the rural regions of the state or of the country, but they kind of get lost in this entire brouhaha over the coverage of it which is extremely biased as far as the metro cities is concerned. And thirdly, it came down heavily on the government again. It said that the way in which the progress of the case is happening, especially through the SIT committee, is not very satisfactory. They also stated, the bench also asked the AG to make sure that the probe is not being done just so that there is a huge public demand, but is actually done keeping all the facts and the procedures in mind. So we see that the Bombay High Court is showing some promptness in action, and as you rightly said, it is not just making sure that the activities of the police and the government are scrutinized here, but is also trying to make a larger, broader change as far as the societal considerations are viewed, be it the emphasis given on the education, on the moral education of the boys in school, or about the committee being formed for further investigation or a further hearing of the POCSO Act hereafter.
Well, absolutely. In fact, Anuj, moral education is one very small aspect of it. It needs to begin with, sex education at the school level in order to educate younger people, make them more aware and remove taboos associated with having these conversations. So there's a larger message that the Bombay High Court is sending out there, Radhika, and an important one there. Thanks very much, Anuj, for joining us with the very latest from, a whole host of women's safety related stories that we've been tracking this morning on the breakfast show. Radhika, I think it's time to switch gears and talk a little bit about politics. Of course, it is election season all over again, with state elections to kick off in the poll-bound states of Jammu Kashmir and Haryana. Let's get you the latest action from Jammu Kashmir this morning. It's going to be the Congress that's kick-starting a campaign in Jammu and Kashmir. Radhika, it's crucial because they've of course managed to salvage that last-ditch attempt to forge an alliance with the National Conference in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. It's going to be very interesting to see how this battle though plays out on the ground.
Certainly, it is going to be fascinating. Of course, Congress MP Rahul Gandhi will launch party campaign in Kashmir, while Ally National Conference's Vice President Omar Abdullah to file nomination for polls today. So therefore, J&K to witness polls in 3 phases, of course. So today, of course, Congress MP Rahul Gandhi to launch a party campaign in Kashmir. So that's the latest that we're getting as far as elections in J&K are concerned.
Yes, let's go across to Nazir Masoodi tracking the details of this story for us this morning. Nazir, good morning to you. What's on Rahul Gandhi's agenda as he kickstarts the Congress's campaign there? And more importantly, Nazir, as someone who so closely covered several elections in Jammu and Kashmir and understands the politics of it, break it down for us. The National Conference and the Congress party may have agreed to this alliance in principle. The seat sharing agreement may have been worked out. But how does this really play out on ground zero as far as the party cadre are concerned? Are they going to be willing to set aside differences and embrace each other on the ground?
Well, that is a very interesting question and the interesting situation also today as Rahul Gandhi starts election campaigning in Jammu and Kashmir. And when he addressed the first rally at Sangaldan in Banihal constituency, Rahul Gandhi has to strike a very fine balance. Because it is a constituency seat where a national conference and Congress may have alliance. But there is a friendly contest on this seat. And the main opponent of the Congress candidate is national conference. So he has to strike a balance. He cannot, speak against the opponent there because it's a friendly contest. So that would be the first rally at a place called Sangaldan in Banihal. At around 11, Rahul Gandhi will address that rally. Then he will fly to Duru in Anantnag constituency where he's going to campaign for Ghulam Ahmad Mir, who is the senior Congress leader and the General Secretary in charge for this Congress for the West Bengal and Jharkhand. So Rahul Gandhi would be campaigning and it is expected Farooq Abdullah is expected to join Rahul Gandhi in that rally, but not in Banihal constituency because both parties are fighting against each other, though they call it a friendly contest. So there are a lot of stakes as Congress has Rahul Gandhi in person. He ensured this alliance happens and he himself visited Farooq Abdullah at his residence, had a long meeting despite lot of back and forth. They managed this alliance, but on the ground there are challenges. For example, Omar Abdullah is today filing his nomination papers from Ganderbal constituency. But there's a Congress leader who has threatened to file his nomination paper if there's not also a friendly contest, what they quote unquote, in Ganderbal also. So there are, alliance troubles on the ground, but largely both the parties are fighting together. National Conference is contesting on 51 seats, Congress on 32 seats, 5 seats, there is a friendly contest. So it is an interesting election. So as Rahul Gandhi kickstarts the election campaigning for the alliance for the Congress, Omar Abdullah filing his nomination papers from Ganderbal. And BJP is also, Prime Minister Narendra Modi from next week, he will be campaigning in Jammu and Kashmir. He will be addressing at least 2 rallies, what we have been told. And also in next few days, BJP is also releasing its manifesto. And what is very interesting, will there be a promise for the restoration of the statehood of Jammu and Kashmir, as Prime Minister himself during his 2 visits to Jammu and Kashmir has reiterated that statehood would be restored as soon at the earliest.
All right, thank you, Nazir Masoodi, for bringing us all those details. In fact, Congress MP Rahul Gandhi to launch a party campaign. Of course, Ally National Conference's Vice President Omar Abdullah will be filing his nomination papers today, Rishika.
Right, and let's shift our gears now to Haryana, where according to sources, the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party, Radhika, have reached a principal understanding to fight next month's Haryana Assembly elections together.
That's right. Now, the challenging task is of deciding the seats between both the parties. The Congress offers 7, AAP is demanding 10. So, yes, some sort of infighting certainly expected as far as these 2 parties are concerned, if they have indeed reached that principal understanding to fight the elections together in Haryana.
Right. It's going to be very interesting to see how this actually plays out and what really happened, in a last-minute rethink. Because remember, Manish Sisodia has been publicly quoted to say that the Aam Aadmi Party will contest all seats in the state of Haryana. So, has their campaign in a certain sense lacked luster, given the fact that Manish Sisodia is just out on bail, Arvind Kejriwal continues to remain behind jail. The Congress, on the other hand, is on a stronger wicket, buoyed on the recent, victory in the Lok Sabha, where they won 5 out of the 10 seats. So, it's going to be very interesting to see, what happens if this alliance does indeed come together in the state of Haryana. Crucial meeting there between Raghav Chadda and KC Venugopal. We'll, of course, track the details of that story very closely. But, even though the poll dates, Radhika, have not been announced in Maharashtra yet, the Maha Yuti seat sharing marathon meetings continue. And I remember, during the Lok Sabha elections, we used to keep coming to you for early morning chats, and we would always be like, so Radhika, is the list coming today? And, you'd always be like, well, it's expected to come today, but it met several hurdles and roadblocks. And many lessons, Radhika, to be learnt as far as the Maha Yuti is concerned. Delay in seat sharing was, ominous in a certain sense, given the kind of drubbing that has happened. Now what's happening? Marathon meetings are happening, Radhika. What really is going on behind the scenes?
That's right. Marathon meetings happening not just within Maha Yuti, which is of course the NDA alliance, but also within the opposition MVA. And there are going to be infighting, there are going to be disputes simply because the political landscape, as we've been discussing, has changed. Let's go across to Anuj. Anuj, we believe that of the 288 seats, BJP could be contesting the largest chunk, which is 160. Shinde Sena perhaps 70, Ajit Pawar 50, but Ajit Pawar wants more seats. As a result of him under pressure from his party leaders, there is a lot of talks of churns within the NCP Ajit Pawar camp as well. So what are you picking up on ground? Of course, dates haven't been announced, but a lot of infighting, a lot of negotiations going on within both the opposition camp as well as ruling Maha Yuti camp.
The conversation about seat sharing in Maha Yuti picked up pace in last 1 week or so. You see, before that, it was mostly the Maha Vikas Agadi that all of us, were looking at. There were several meetings being held as far as Maha Vikas Agadi is concerned, not just across the state, but especially in Mumbai as well, amongst different hierarchical level of the leaders. But today, what we get to know is the fact that the Maha Yuti has also pulled up its socks as far as the seat sharing in it is concerned. We see that last time around the Lok Sabha, the distribution of seats on several seats caused them and it caused them the results, and it also resulted them in Maha Yuti coming down heavily after the 2019 election. Now, what we are gathering from whatever has happened in the last couple of weeks, be it the marathon meetings in Mumbai or especially in Nagpur led by Nitin Gadkari, is the fact that BJP will indeed be eyeing to get the maximum number of seats, which is anywhere between 150 to 160. BJP, is the single largest party in the state with 105 MLAs, and the Shinde Shiv Sena, which is a party of the incumbent chief minister in the state, will be getting the second largest number of seats, followed by Ajit Pawar. Now, Ajit Pawar faction of NCP becomes an extremely important point here because the party has been under some sort of scanner from the several right-wing organizations supporting the Bharatiya Janata Party, especially the RSS, which also cited the NCP, the Ajit Pawar faction of NCP to be the major reason for BJP losing in the state. And they had a strike rate of as low as 25%. So what will be the liberalness shown by the Maha Yuti to the Ajit Pawar faction? Will they actually get 70 to 80 is what they want, or will it be 60 or 50? Will be something that will become clear as we move ahead with the conversations about the Maha Yuti seat sharing.
All right, well, marathon meetings there. Radhika, it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. Anuj and you especially are going to have a very hectic calendar going forward with that election announcement that is anticipated. God alone knows when it happens and whether there's any surprises and regrouping. But Maharashtra is indeed going to be a fascinating election to watch out for. Let's shift our focus now to Delhi, where the Delhi Lieutenant Governor V.K. Saxena has asked the MCD Commissioner to notify the appointment of Deputy Commissioners as presiding officers for the MCD Ward Committee polls after Mayor Shelley Oberoi did not do so.
That's right. The last-minute intervention by LG using special powers granted makes way over for polls today. However, Delhi Mayor hits back, writes to MCD Commissioner. alleging councillors unable to file a nomination on time.
Right, and in fact, we have Tanushka joining us live from the national capital with the very latest. Tanushka, the MCD Ward Committee polls are taking place today. What's the latest?
Well, after much suspense over the MCD polls and the elections over it, the Lieutenant Governor has finally taken over, and in this way, he's kind of overriding the Mayor of Delhi as well. And he's announced that in larger public interest, the elections will take place today itself, and the elections will happen starting at 10 a.m. and go on until 4 p.m. And this is also when the deputy commissioners of each zone will be acting as the presiding officers. You both also rightly mentioned that since Mayor of Delhi, Shali Oberoi, has not appointed or rather nominated these presiding officers, what we also know is that these elections is to elect the chairman, the deputy chairman, as well as one member of a standing committee. So all of these members will be elected today itself, and this comes as a decision from the Lieutenant Governor, where he overrides the mayor and calls out the elections that will happen today from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m.
All right, thanks very much, Anushka. We'll keep coming back to you for more updates on that story. Let's quickly shift our focus now to the other big development that we're tracking. Well, his complaints against corruption allegedly ignored for years. This is an absolutely fantastic story, Radhika, coming in from Madhya Pradesh, where we can see this man clearly. Can you imagine from those visuals his level of frustration that he assembled a garland out of the documents and made an entrance into the district collector's office? This is a visual that has left everybody stunned. That man crawling on the road and then rolling on it and dragging several other documents containing what he claimed was evidence has finally gotten the attention that he was so desperately seeking, Radhika.
Certainly. In fact, like every Tuesday, a public hearing was being conducted in the office of Neemuch district collector to address people's grievances when Mukesh Prajapati was spotted crawling on his elbows, a garland of documents around him. Those are the visuals there, and several others seen together on a rope trailing him. As he switched to rolling on the road and made his way to the entrance, it emerged that he had been complaining against the alleged corrupt acts carried out by the Sarpanch of his village, Kangaria, and claimed he had not been heard for over 6 years.
All right, well, with that, we're going to yes, we're going to slip into a short break, Radhika, but we have breaking news that is coming in from Mumbai on the other side. Another hit and run that's been reported. A 27-year-old woman has died. We'll get you all the latest updates on that big developing story on the other side. Do stay with us.
Hi, I'm Shreya Saran. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate. Let's rebuild Wayanad.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. 10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgency, to stop breathing with difficulty, to relieve getting choked with inactivity. Energize our government, our environment, our society, and ourselves. Everyone, everywhere, every day. Banega Swasth India. One world hygiene.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
New day, new show, a new experience.
Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your life.
News that informs and keeps you ahead.
From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of power, Delhi,
NDTV brings you the best breakfast show.
Breakfast news on NDTV, 8 a.m. every day.
Hi, I'm Shreya Saran. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating.
Welcome back. We have some breaking updates from Mumbai. In fact, this is an accident case. In fact, a 27-year-old woman died after she was hit by a car in Malad area of Mumbai. In fact, after the accident, an angry mob thrashed the driver of that particular vehicle. So those are the details we're picking up. Another accident case. Let's go to Sujata. Sujata, after the Worli hit and run, something similar here where a 27-year-old woman dying after she was hit by a speeding car in Malad, Mumbai. We believe that the driver has been arrested. What more details can you give?
Well, certainly, Radhika, and another hit-and-run incident has now taken place, and this has happened in Malad West near Oris Tower, which is also the residence of the MLA there, Aslam Sheikhs. And what happened exactly, as the police details, they state that a car crashed into a woman under the car and dragged her to the divider, after which the woman, she was brought dead to the hospital. However, the driver did not flee the spot, instead picked her up and took her to the hospital, but there she was declared dead. And the woman was said to be a 27-year-old, and this happened in the Malad Malvini, and her name is said to be Shahana Kazi, who was returning home after attending a Mehndi class when a speeding Ford car hit her from behind. However, she was taken in a very critical condition, after which as soon as she was declared dead, it is also said that she had two small children, and after the accident, the angry mob also hit the Ford driver, and he has been arrested for now under the hit and run cases, and after which he will be today presented in court where the matter will be taken further. Over to you.
All right, so the accused will be presented before the court today. Another tragic hit and run where a 27-year-old woman losing her life after she was hit by a car. The accused, of course, arrested. Thank you, Sujata, for bringing all those details.
All right, yet another horrific case there, Radhika, and it's another case of drunken driving that we're reporting, from Mumbai. We'll track that story very closely, but let's shift our focus now. During his bilateral visit to Brunei, Prime Minister Narendra Modi toured the Omar Ali Saifuddin Mosque in Brunei's capital. He also inaugurated a new building at India's High Commission, and at the mosque, Prime Minister was welcomed by Brunei's Minister of Religious Affairs, with members of the Indian community, Radhika, there in attendance as well. So, crucial visit, and the Prime Minister now heads to Singapore, Radhika.
That's right, crucial visit by Prime Minister Modi. Earlier, of course, Prime Minister Modi met Bruneian Crown Prince Haji Ali Muhtadi Billah, the heir apparent to Sultan Haji Hassan Al Bolkiah, upon his arrival in Brunei. Of course, the Prime Minister is on a two-day bilateral visit, the first by an Indian Prime Minister. After this, he will be heading to Singapore. Rishika, his visit, of course, aims to enhance cooperation in defense, trade, investment, energy, space technology and health sector. Brunei, of course, is strategically located on the island of Borneo. Of course, now the second largest reigning monarch in the world after UK's Queen Elizabeth in Brunei. So, Rishika, certainly very, very significant visit as far as Prime Minister Modi is concerned. This marks the first ever visit by an Indian head of the state to island nation, despite 40 years of diplomatic relations with both the countries.
Well, absolutely, Radhika. I have to say, though, that, while the Prime Minister's historic visit has made headlines, so has, the monarch who came to receive him at the airport. The second longest reigning monarch in the world of Brunei came to receive Prime Minister Modi at the airport, and his list of cars and wealth has also made international headlines and grabbed a lot of attention. But that aside, this has been an interesting visit. The Prime Minister, of course, now heading to Singapore. But Ghazali joining us with the very latest. Ghazali, this is very crucial as far as energy cooperation is concerned, isn't it? Is that what you'd say would be the biggest takeaway?
Yeah, energy would certainly be the key area of focus or discussion today. But what is also very important is that whenever Prime Minister visits any country, you will see a lot of bilateral talks and MOUs being signed. The one key MOU is that Brunei has always provided us a ground station to track our satellites, which are launched to eastwards. But this time, there are also, India is expecting that in that particular domain of space technology, India will also be training them for space tech and research, because Brunei has provided us ground station, so we will be providing them research in the space technology. And besides that, since we are importing hydrocarbon from Brunei, certainly energy sector will be focused, because in coming years, India's energy needs will increase. And Brunei being one of the key partners in Asian region, we are expected to import natural gas from Brunei. So from that aspect, from energy aspect, Brunei is a key partner. Besides that, India is also planning to have a joint working group when it comes to defense cooperation. And this is one of the key factors, or say the key aspect of our foreign policy, that we are also reducing our reliance on one single partner when it comes to defense procurement or purchase. So a joint working group is expected to be constituted or will be announced after the Prime Minister's meeting with the head of state there, with the Sultan. And besides energy sector and defense, then there are other sectors like food and agri-technology, science. In these domains also, MOUs are expected to be signed between India and Brunei.
Right. Thanks very much, Ghazali, for joining us with those latest updates.
All right, moving on to world of sports. Rishika, let's get you some highlights of day 6 of Paris Paralympics 2024. India took their medals tally to 20, the best ever in a single edition of Paralympics. Before this, their best performance came in Tokyo, where India won 19 medals, Rishika.
Well, absolutely. And early on Wednesday, Sharad Kumar won a silver, while Mariappan claimed bronze in the men's high jump event. On the other hand, Ajit Singh and Sundar Singh Gurjar claimed silver and bronze respectively. In the javelin throw final, Deepthi won the 400-meter T20 bronze.
That's right. In fact, earlier shooter Avni Lekhara, who has already won a gold medal, finished 5th in women's 50-meter rifle, 3 positions final. In archery, Pooja Jatian lost in the quarter-final clash.
Yes, and in fact, India's flag bearer at the opening ceremony, Bhagyashree Jadhav, missed out on a medal in her women's shot, putting a shot put final as well. But the medal tally there, Radhika, is something to celebrate, definitely. And it's going to be, it's a historic moment as far as India is concerned, Radhika.
Right, Rishika. So that's all we have on this bulletin of Breakfast Show. We will get you more tomorrow at the same time, Rishika. Thank you for watching.
Hello, Moto.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. "10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgency, to stop breathing with difficulty, to relieve getting choked with inactivity. Energize our government, our environment, our society, and ourselves. Everyone, everywhere, every day. बनेगा स्वस्थ इंडिया, one world hygiene.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
New day, new show, a new experience.
Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your life.
News that informs and keeps you ahead.
From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of power, Delhi,
NDTV brings you the best breakfast show.
Breakfast news on NDTV, 8 a.m. every day.
Hi, I'm Shreya Saran. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate. Let's rebuild Wayanad.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient.
A very good morning. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Divya Vata. We have a whole lot lined up for you, including the co-producer of the film Emergency has moved the Bombay High Court. We'll get you all the details. But first, the headlines. Bombay High Court to hear the plea on the film Emergency, and it is a co-producer, Z Entertainment, that's moved the High Court over the film's certification. A plea alleges that CBFC illegally has withheld the certification, and that case is coming up in court today. And it's the centre versus Bengal government as far as Kolkata's rape case in the Supreme Court. The Home Ministry has gone on to tell the Supreme Court that the Bengal government is posing hurdles when it comes to the accommodation of the CISV at the Arjikar hospital. The Home Ministry has gone on to say that West Bengal government should extend its support. The Union Home Ministry tells Supreme Court that West Bengal government has adopted a blatantly non-cooperative approach towards the CISF. And it is the Me Too storm that has escalated, and a case has been filed against Malayalam actor Aliansa. And the complaint alleges that he sexually assaulted a woman in 2017 in Bengaluru. And actor Nivin Pauly has also been booked for rape. And there's a very unique protest as far as Madhya Pradesh's Neemach is concerned. A man from Madhya Pradesh wears a garland of complaints and makes that entrance into the district collector's office that left everyone stunned, crawling and rolling on the floor. The man dragged documents claiming those were evidence against the Sarpanch. The Prime Minister is in Brunei to boost strategic ties. This is the first ever bilateral trip by an Indian Prime Minister. Bilateral discussions are underway focusing on defense, trade, investment, energy as well as space technology and health. The two nations are also expected to sign several MOUs. And athletes usher in medal rush at the Paris Paralympics. Well, India achieves its highest ever Paralympics tally, silver and bronze medals for India in javelin and high jump categories. Let's get your top story, and that is the details of the film Emergency related to the plea before the Bombay High Court. The co-producer of the film, Z Entertainment Enterprise, has moved the Bombay High Court seeking a direction to the CBFC to issue certification for the film. Now, the company has petitioned the Bombay High Court seeking an official copy of the film certification from the CBFC. Z has claimed that despite being informed of the film certification on the 29th of last month, CBFC is yet to provide a formal copy of the certification. The plea alleges that CBFC has illegally withheld the certification and is seeking urgent relief from the court and has agreed to hear that plea, and that case will be coming up in court today. My colleague Anuj joining us. Anuj, take us through what the co-producer of the film is alleging and what time is this case coming up in Bombay High Court?
The case is coming in the Bombay High Court at around 11 a.m. in the just a couple of hours from now on. And this is becoming an interesting case because we saw that the plea, the very basis of the plea is the fact that they have been communicated about the certification of the film by the CBFC a few days ago, but a physical copy has not been given to the film producers yet. And without a physical copy, the film is not really cleared for its release. And the film was slated to release on the 6th of September. That is just in a couple of days. But now that seems highly unlikely given the fact that the producers do not yet have a certification, a certificate from the CBFC in their hand. What we learned from from several reports is the fact that yesterday the CBFC informed the Madhya Pradesh High Court that they are yet to make yet to give a proper certification on this film because the film is still under consideration, and every day some new cuts are been done as far as the CBFC is concerned, and that is putting a lot of pressure on the Z, which is the co-producer of the film, and as a result they have knocked the doors of the Bombay High Court. They have a few fundamental demands. Firstly, the fact that this is an encroachment over their freedom of expression, and secondly, it is also a violation of the Cinematograph Act, which states that after the submission to the CBFC, the film is to get its certificate in the next 5 days, either in some way or the other. Although we see that on their website, the CBFC, they have stated that the film is a UA certified film, but then the producers haven't received their copy yet. This entire thing began when several PILs were filed against the film after the trailer released on the 15th of August in Madhya Pradesh and Punjab by several Sikh communities, and after that the film underwent some heavy scrutiny from the CBFC, and now even a few hours before the scheduled release, the film producers do not have the certificate in their hand yet. So the two-judge bench led by Kolabawala and Justice Kolabawala and Justice Puniwala will be hearing this case, and the producer are demanding for an urgent release of the withheld certificate by the CBFC.
Right, thank you so much, Anuj, for getting us all those details. Switching tracks now, in the latest flashpoint between Bengal's ruling Trinamool Congress and the BJP, the centre has now gone to the Supreme Court contending that the Bengal government must provide proper facilities for the CISF personnel who have been delegated to ensure security at the hospital. Anything less, it said, would amount to contempt of court and action should be initiated. In its petition filed before the Supreme Court, the Ministry of Home Affairs said the troops are currently staying at the city CISF unit in the city suburbs and they have to travel at least an hour to reach the hospital.
This is a plea that has come from the Home Ministry against, as you rightly pointed out, the West Bengal government. Call it Amit Shah versus Mamata Banerjee or whatever you may. The fact is that this is in compliance with the Supreme Court norms and the Supreme Court direction to have CISF at RG Kar. That was the direction, that was the clear thing. Whether this comes in a grey area, whether they have to provide, accommodation to the CISF staff, the security gadgets, those are certain things that we'll have to wait and watch and see whether the MHA plea is accepted by the Supreme Court. Because how does a state government, which does not have the required accommodation provided to the CISF, just because of a direction that you have to take over the security of the hospital, it can be within a distance of a few meters. How long is this CISF deployment? Is it going to be on a continuous basis, just because the Chief Justice and his bench have decided? Is it going to be for months or years? Those are certain directions have to be taken. It's in that context we'll have to wait and see how things play out. It's definitely a huge contention, because please remember, in the Constitution of India, law and order is number one. It's because of the Supreme Court direction that CISF has taken over the RG car. But does it mean that they have to also provide accommodation? Do they have to also provide the equipment and the security apparatus that the CISF requires? Who pays for that? All these issues need to be resolved, and we'll get further clarity once the Supreme Court picks up this matter.
Right. Thank you so much, Sunil, for joining us with those details. And staying with news from the Kolkata's RG Kar Medical College, it is the former principal who has now been suspended by the Health Minister of West Bengal. The suspension has come on the heels of his arrest by the CBI in connection with the alleged irregularities at the hospital during his tenure. Sandeep Ghosh and 3 others have been sent to 8 days of CBI custody in the case of financial irregularities at the college. And several weeks after the gruesome rape and murder of the junior doctor in Kolkata's RG Kar Hospital that sparked outrage across the country, the West Bengal Assembly passed a bill to bring in a new law that ensures the maximum punishment for all rape cases where the punishment will be death penalty or life in jail. The law will also make provision for a time-bound trial and an enhanced compensation or fine. The Mamata Banerjee government has called the law historic, but when will this be implemented, given the fact that Andhra Pradesh Assembly and Maharashtra Assembly have passed similar laws but have not received the assent from the President?
Immediate execution of this bill.
No break from the politics as the West Bengal Legislative Assembly debated a new law to combat sexual crimes like rape. Even as the bill was passed with support from both the opposition and the ruling party, the Trinamool and the BJP took on each other, with the BJP targeting Mamata Banerjee, accusing her of downplaying rapes in the past. Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee hit back, citing incidents in other states.
Correct information, I don't have any problem. কিন্তু যদি দেখেন wrong information, misleading information, disinformation and distorted information and destructive information and provocative information, then speaker has the right to deal it. মনে আছে আপনাদের, কেউ তো একবারও স্বীকার করলেন না উন্নাওয়ের কথা। এটা ফ্যাক্ট যে আজকে প্রতিদিন দেশে প্রায় 90টি ধর্ষণের ঘটনা ঘটে, তার মধ্যে অনেকেরই মৃত্যু ঘটে, খুব বেদনাদায়ক। উত্তরপ্রদেশের ঝাঁসিতে চলন্ত গাড়িতে 17 বছরের মেয়ে ধর্ষিতা হয়েছে।
আপনাকে বলি, এই বিল আনার উদ্দেশ্য কি? উদ্দেশ্য হচ্ছে জনমত। সরকার এই বিপুল জনবিক্ষোভ, গণরোষ, ঘৃণা, ক্রোধ এই জায়গা থেকে ইস্যু ডাইভার্ট করতে চাইছেন আপনারা।
As the BJP pushed for immediate implementation of the bill, the Chief Minister asked the leader of opposition to ensure the governor does not delay it. The new law mandates setting up of an Aparajita task force headed by a DSP rank officer. It also mandates completion of the investigation of offences within 21 days and also mandates the maximum punishment for rape, life term or death.
Will this bill, which has been passed with political consensus, get assent from the President or Governor, or will it meet the fate of similar bills that have been passed by other states but are still waiting for presidential assent? With camera person G.D. Shankar in Kolkata, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
And let's just get you the very latest. It's the Bombay High Court on Tuesday, while hearing the suo motu PIL regarding the sexual assault of 2 kindergarten students in a school in Badlapur, Thane, reiterated that the Maharashtra government must teach the boys about right and wrong, saying Beta Padhao or Beti Bachao. This is what was really said, reiterating the need to teach the boys at a younger stage on respecting women and girls. 2 girls aged 3 and 4 were sexually assaulted by a cleaning staffer in a girls' toilet in Maharashtra's Thane district, with massive outrage that was seen at the Badlapur station in Thane as protesters held a real roko protest against the alleged assault of those 2 kindergarten students. We have my colleague Anuj joining us. Anuj, what really was said by the Bombay High Court, reiterating the fact that, there is a need to educate sons while protecting daughters.
See, this was the third hearing of the suo motu case taken up by the Bombay High Court in the Badlapur case, and we can clearly see that the Bombay High Court does not want to restrict the observations made by it to this particular case, but wants to make some general and more broader observations which can be used, for the betterment of the women's safety across the state and the country. What we are seeing is the fact that yesterday 3 major pointers came out from the hearing. Firstly, as you rightly said, the Bombay High Court has time and again been reiterating on the fact that a huge chunk of women's safety is also need to be taken care of at schools by teaching both boys and girls, especially the boys, on several aspects and on several regards. And that has been something that the Bombay High Court has been pushing since day one of the suo motu hearing. And it also stated it yesterday by calling it out, by stating very openly that Beta Padhao and Beti Bachao. Secondly, we saw that the Bombay High Court come down very heavily on the SIT committee formed by the government and asked them to not work under public pressure, not work, rather in a slightly carefree manner, but to make sure that the seriousness of the matter is taken into consideration and every fact is scrutinized to the best of its value. And thirdly and finally, it also stated that it kind of expressed its disappointment over the progression of the SIT committee and has asked the government, has asked the police to pull up its socks and has also put in place a special committee to make recommendations as far as the POCSO Act is concerned. They had called out for this committee in the second hearing, and yesterday we saw that they've named several ex-educators, officials from the police department, from the education department, including former principals from the rural regions of the state, being a part of this committee, which has been given a time of 8 weeks to submit a report on the POCSO cases in the state.
Right. Thank you so much, Anuj, for joining us with those details. And switching tracks now, an FIR has been filed against actor Alencia Lopez for sexual misconduct based on a complaint made by a junior artist. The offence allegedly took place in a hotel in Bengaluru on multiple occasions between 2017 and 2018. So a case has been filed against the actor. The police have registered a case on the complaint that was made by the former junior artist. An FIR has also been registered against Malayalam film star Nivin Polly in Kerala's Ernakulam district based on a complaint filed by a woman. The actor has gone ahead and denied those charges and said that he'll go to any extent to fight the case. The complaint that's been made is that the woman said she was promised a role in films, and on that pretext she was sexually assaulted, not just by him but other people as well. She said there were 6 people, including the actor, who sexually assaulted her in Dubai.
So Nivin Polly is a big star, the Premam star as he's called. He had starred along with Sai Pallavi in that film, and of course several other successful films, and he has in fact alleged some kind of a conspiracy because of which he is being named in this particular case by an actress. And he in fact held a press conference yesterday and said that I want to put this out in the public domain, saying that I have no reason to believe that I have done anything wrong at all, and therefore I am going to go to the bottom of this. What he has said is that he is going to take this up legally because he believes that there is a conspiracy. In this particular case, he has been named as an accused number 6 by the police. In this case, the accused number 1 incidentally happens to be a woman called Shreya, who is supposed to have taken this victim survivor to another place where she was offered a role, and subsequently other than the producer as well in this case, who has been booked as accused number 2 in this case, and subsequently Nivin Polly becoming accused number 6. All these are non-bailable cases, and that's the reason why many of them we are seeing, like Siddiq and Ranjit as well, have gone to the court seeking orders against their arrest on the basis of the complaints that are being made. Mr. Ranjit was in fact the first of the actors to be named in these cases. He has in fact gone to court saying that he is not just not guilty in this case, but he's also said that he has several ailments, including a liver transplant that he had undergone, and therefore he should not be arrested in this particular case. I must point out not just the Me Too allegations in the sexual harassment case in the film industry, there is some other big drive that's happening in Kerala, and that is against child pornography. An operation that is being called P, that is something that is in fact led to the arrest of as many as 37 people. Raids and searches are being carried out everywhere against people who are in fact looking at this or storing this or sharing this. As you know, child pornography is also a big area of concern, and that's a crackdown that the Kerala government is also undertaking at the same time, because attitudes that are formed about sexual perversion or about respect neither to a woman, it could be a man as well, or a child, all those cases in a sense, should I say, being looked at by the Kerala government and the authorities there.
Right, thank you so much, Uma, for joining us with those details. And switching tracks now to Jammu and Kashmir, and the Congress will be starting its election campaign in the poll-bound Jammu and Kashmir. Well, the Congress MP Rahul Gandhi will be launching the party campaign in Kashmir, while Ally National Conference's Vice President Omar Abdullah will be filing his nomination for the polls, and that is coming up as far as his filing of nomination is concerned. That's going to be happening today. So Jammu and Kashmir will be witnessing its polls in 3 phases, starting from the 18th of this month and then the 25th, followed by the 1st of October. So Rahul Gandhi and other members of the Congress party expected to kickstart the campaigning of the Congress party in the poll-bound Jammu and Kashmir. We have Nazir joining us. Nazir, 2 mega rallies have been planned and Rahul Gandhi to participate in those rallies. Can we also expect Priyanka Gandhi Vadra to be there?
Well, Rahul Gandhi is kickstarting his election campaigning in Jammu and Kashmir today with 2 rallies. One is in Banhal constituency at a place called Sangaldan, where he will address the first rally. He will be campaigning for former Congress President Bakar Kulwani. But Rahul Gandhi has to strike a very fine balance when he will address the rally in Banhal, because there's a friendly contest between National Conference and the Congress, and the main opponent of the Congress candidate is the National Conference candidate. And so this is one of the 5 constituencies where both the alliance partners are having friendly contact. Then Rahul Gandhi will fly to Duru in Anantnag, where he will address a rally and campaign for Ghulam Ahmad Mir. Ghulam Ahmad Mir is a former Congress state president and also currently the General Secretary in charge, West Bengal and Jharkhand, senior leader. So Rahul Gandhi coming for him. And at Duru, Farooq Abdullah would be accompanying Rahul Gandhi. He will also address the rally. It is a joint candidate. So besides, Congress, launching its campaign, Rahul Gandhi launching his kick-starting campaign, Omar Abdullah is also today filing his nomination papers from Ganderbal constituency. This is the Abdullah family constituency where Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah has contested election, Farooq Abdullah contested election, and Omar Abdullah so far has contested 3 elections from Ganderbal constituency. In 2002, he lost election in Ganderbal. In 2008, he won, and he's again fighting from Ganderbal. In 2014, he didn't contest from election from Ganderbal. So he's contesting again from this family constituency, Ganderbal. And there are a lot of balls who are going against him. There are reports that one, jailed separatists may contest from there, whose, nomination form was rejected in Shopian, which will go to the polls in first phase. But he's again, contesting from there. So if that is correct, which means when Omar Abdullah fought election for the parliament, a prisoner from, Tehran jail, Engineer Rashid was allowed to contest from Baraballah, and Umar Abdullah lost. Now another prisoner who is a separatist, staunch separatist, who led a, bloody revolt in 2016, and he was, kind of a, cult figure for the separatists and those protests. So he is now fighting elections. Those are reports. He may be fighting elections from Ganderbal against Umar Abdullah. So that would be a very interesting contest, and why those who are in jail, yeah, being allowed to, fight against Umar Abdullah, whether it was in parliament or it would be in Gandharbal Assembly, would be a very interesting. What are the reason we don't know, but Umar Abdullah appears to be the, target of those who are in jail or government government who allow, disallowed, given adverse report against Sarjan Barkati when he filed his nomination papers from the Shopian Assembly constituency, but again trying his luck from the Gandharbal constituency. We'll have to see whether he will be allowed, because the security agency will give him clearance from contesting Gandharbal elections as well, because Election Commission has rejected his form in the earlier seat. So it is an interesting election because it is seen as an election where large number of people are participating, where we see for the first time election happening without any fear of violence or boycott call. Even the separatist like the Jamaat Islami linked candidates are participating in this election, and today it is the top leadership of the Congress, Rahul Gandhi himself, coming and starting election campaign from Jammu and Kashmir.
Right, of course, Nazir, these two rallies are the start of a series of Congress star campaigners seeking the support for party candidates, and later we're also expecting Sonia Gandhi as well as Mallikarjun Kharge and the sister of Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, among the 40 Congress star campaigners who will be campaigning in Jammu and Kashmir. Thank you so much, Nazir, for joining us. Well, switching tracks now, according to sources, the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party have reached a principal understanding to fight in next month's Haryana Assembly elections, now challenging the task of deciding on the seats between the parties. So the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party there reaching that agreement. This was a meeting that took place. So saying that early exchanges as far as the Aam Aadmi Party is concerned has demanded 10 seats, while the Congress is willing to give between 5 and 7 only. The Congress is reportedly also willing to give 1 seat to the Samajwadi Party of ex-Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav. We have my colleague Gurpreet joining us. Gurpreet, another round of meeting expected in order to decide on the seat sharing formula.
That is the recent development. We have seen earlier so many times the former Chief Minister of Haryana, Bhupinder Singh Hooda, has given a very clear statement saying at the national level we forged the alliance with Aam Aadmi Party, but at the state level we don't want to pursue this alliance. But we have seen this is a new development. We have seen even the central leadership of the Congress, they have also saying they are trying to make a plan to have a seat share. So somewhere down the line, it seems this India alliance, which has been paused during the Lok Sabha elections, that is the same formula they are going to implement in Haryana state elections. So, but how many seats they are going to give Aam Aadmi Party, that is yet to be seen, and what will be the political strategy for both the parties, that is yet to be formulated by the central leadership. Back to studio.
Right, thank you so much, Gurpreet, for joining us with those details. And let's switch tracks to Maharashtra now, and Mahayuti seat sharing after the marathon meeting. As far as the Mahayuti NDA alliance is likely to finalize its seats in the next 2 weeks. Out of the total of 288 constituencies in the state, the BJP is likely to contest around 160 seats, and the Shinde Sena could get around 70 seats, and Ajit Pawar's NCP could get about 50 seats. Ajit Pawar has, however, sought 60 seats under the pressure from his party leaders. Anuj, take us through, from what we're hearing from our sources, as far as the seat sharing is concerned. Get us all the details that you have for us.
You see, in the Lok Sabha elections, what, according to several experts and pundits, what costed the Mahayuti alliance was the fact that the seat sharing wasn't the most satisfactory kind of dealing between the three alliance parties, and we also saw that several constituencies, after the MVA, that is the Maha Vikas Agadi, had already done it, and it resulted in Mahayuti suffering huge losses when the results came out. And to kind of make sure that something like that doesn't repeat itself, we are seeing that the Mahayuti has started to pull up its stocks and has started to hold marathon meetings in two of the major cities of the state, that is Nagpur and Mumbai, under the leadership from the central committee, central government as well, including Nitin Gadkari, who has come down to the state to have a talk with state leaders. Now, what we are seeing is the fact that the BJP, which is the single largest party in the state at the moment, with 105 MLAs, will be eyeing to get as many as 150 to 160 seats.
out of 288 seats, which leaves just above 100 seats for the other two partners, that is Shiv Sena and Ajit Pawar faction of NCP. Shiv Sena faction of Eknath Shinde, who is also the Chief Minister of the state at the moment, will be demanding for the second most number of seats, which can go up to 70 to 80. But the interesting player here is Ajit Pawar's faction. We see that his party got only 4 seats in the Lok Sabha elections, out of which he was only able to make one candidate win. So the strike rate was as low as 25%. But then there were also reports that the fact that Ajit Pawar accepted such less number of seats in Lok Sabha meant that the Maha had promised to be a little more liberal to him when the Vidhan Sabha time came. And but the pressure from the several organizations on the BJP, including the RSS, on the inclusion of the Ajit Pawar faction of NCP has also showed results, or it has impacted the Maha alliance across the state, as we've seen that the party has been giving some contradictory statements and has been holding protests against the government as well. At the moment, the Ajit Pawar faction might be demanding for something close to 70 or 80, but there may not be a space for more than 40 to 50 seats for Ajit Pawar faction from the Maha.
Thank you so much, Anuj, for getting us all those details. So with that, we're slipping in a very short break. Back with a whole lot more to stay with us.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra comes with Google Gemini.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
New day, new show, a new experience.
Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your life.
News that informs and keeps you ahead.
From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of power, Delhi,
NDTV brings you the best breakfast show.
Breakfast news on NDTV, 8 a.m. every day.
Hi, I'm Shreya Saran. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate. Let's rebuild Wayanad.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections.
Welcome back. Let's get to the very latest from the national capital and the new presidential order that has now given more powers when it comes to Delhi's LG. So this is going to be a new flashpoint between Delhi's LG and the government here in the national capital. So it is going to be the Delhi LG versus the Aam Aadmi Party. The LG getting more powers in appointments. President Draupadi Murmu on Tuesday delegated Delhi's LG to get more powers to form and appoint members to any authority, board, commission or statutory body under laws enacted by the Parliament for the capital. The Ministry of Home Affairs has gone on to say that the new presidential order could constitute any authority, board and commission such as the Delhi Commission for Women and the Delhi Electricity Regulatory Commission. In a notification issued on Tuesday, the Union Home Ministry said that Delhi LG can also appoint members to such authority, board, commission or statutory bodies. So this is the latest as far as the powers. This new presidential order is likely to trigger a fresh showdown between the LG and the ruling Aam Aadmi Party government in the capital. The notification has come about in which more powers have now been given to the LG. We have my colleague Tanushka joining us. Tanushka, this clearly means, it is the centre that is giving the Delhi LG more powers against the government here in the national capital.
Exactly, Divya. The president has delegated the appointment of to form and appoint members to boards, commissions, authorities, and any statutory body under the laws that are enacted by the parliament in Delhi to the Delhi's lieutenant governor. So, with the president renewing these provisions that have already been there, that have already existed, the spotlight has been brought back to the tussle between the power in Delhi. That means between the Delhi's lieutenant governor and the Delhi's mayor. So this also means that Delhi's lieutenant governor will therefore from now onwards again have these powers to form and appoint members of authority onto any such commissions, boards and authorities.
Right, Tanushka, thank you so much for getting us all those details. And moving on now, let's just get you more news. And there is news regarding this is the Delhi LG has asked the MCD Commissioner to notify the appointment of Deputy Commissioners as presiding officers to the MCD Ward Committee polls after the Mayor did not do so. The last-minute intervention by the LG using special powers granted makes way over as far as this is for the polls today. However, Delhi Mayor has hit back, writing to the MCD Commissioner alleging that the councillors were unable to file the nominations on time. We have Tanushka back with us. Tanushka, now it is the LG versus the Mayor with the MCD Ward Committee polls that are coming up today, and it is the LG who has again stepped in.
Right, exactly, Divya. There has been a constant suspense over these MCD polls and elections that finally the Delhi Lieutenant Governor put some clarity to and announced that the elections will be held today itself. And this notification came in late last night, wherein, first of all, the MCD Commissioner reached out to the Lieutenant Governor seeking for direction as to the elections and as to the decision as well, because there was no decision on the same from the mayor's end until 8 in the evening yesterday. So, which is when the Lieutenant Governor also wrote out in as a response to the MCD Commissioner stating that elections will happen today, will commence today. And this was, in a way, Delhi Lieutenant Governor, exercising his constitutional and statutory powers. And he's also nominated the deputy commissioners of each zone to be acting as the presiding officers in these elections.
Right, Tarishka, thank you so much for getting us all those details. Switching tracks now to news coming in from Madhya Pradesh, in which a man assembled a garland made out of complaints. That is the documents that he put together in a garland, and then he made an entrance into the district collector's office that left everyone stunned. He was crawling and then rolling on the floor. The man dragged several other documents containing what he claimed was evidence against the Sarpanch. Let's just get you the very latest, and its Union Minister apologizes over the cafe blast remarks that were made and has tendered an apology. We're talking about the minister who's apologized to the people of Tamil Nadu. Shobha has gone on to say that no intention was to hurt the sentiment, seeking the quashing of the FIR against her. Shobha has said that the Rameshwaram cafe bombers were trained in Tamil Nadu. So now an apology has been given. This is an apology over the controversial remarks made over the blast that took place at the Rameshwaram cafe. The remarks linked to the people of Tamil Nadu and it is the Union Minister who has apologized over the remarks that were made. It is Shobha Karandlaje who has filed an affidavit and has tendered an apology. The minister has apologized to the people of Tamil Nadu, saying that she really had no intention to hurt the sentiments and that she's seeking the quashing of the FIR against her. She had gone on to claim that the bombers responsible for that blast at the Rameshwaram cafe were trained in Tamil Nadu. So she has now retracted that comment that was made, saying that she had no intention of hurting anyone or anyone's sentiments, and she has now tendered an apology. She is seeking for the quashing of the FIR that was filed against her. These are the comments that were made by the minister in regard to the blast that took place. So now she has tendered an apology. She has apologized to the people of Tamil Nadu over that controversial. So she had filed this affidavit on Tuesday before the Madras High Court, apologizing to the people of Tamil Nadu for her remarks made in light of the Rameshwaram cafe blast in Bengaluru earlier this year. So we have Sam Daniel joining us. Sam, of course, we just, heard like the minister has tendered an apology. She has gone on to say that she didn't want to hurt anyone's sentiments. Take us through the remarks that were made in, connection with the people responsible for the Rameshwaram blast.
She had made this in March, soon after the Rameshwaram cafe blast in Bengaluru, Divya. At that time, even when the NIA was on its probe at that time, Shobha had claimed that the people who had kept those bombs at the Rameshwaram cafe are from Tamil Nadu. They got trained from Tamil Nadu and then they indulge in this kind of terror activities in Karnataka. And the context is that was before the Lok Sabha elections, in the run-up to the Lok Sabha elections, and at that time those comments, although were seen to be inaccurate and not corroborated by investigators, it was seen in the political context of an attempt to help the BJP, which was trying to expand its footprint in Tamil Nadu, where it has negligible presence. And a private citizen had moved the court, saying that this kind of a statement triggers panic and also projects the entire Tamil community in Tamil Nadu as people who get trained to plant bombs. And he had moved the court, and incidentally, the minister also had moved the court to quash the FIR filed against her for trying to create enmity, trying to create clashes between different groups and sections like that. And the Tamil Nadu government had argued that when the NIA had not made any such statements, the minister ought not to have done that, and they demanded an apology in the form of a statement read to the press, just the way she had made those statements during the press conference. And now she has filed an affidavit in the Madras High Court apologizing to people of Tamil Nadu that she regrets if she had hurt the feelings and sentiments of people in Tamil Nadu, and she respects the Tamil culture and the people here, and those comments were not intended to offend anyone in Tamil Nadu. Now, the Tamil Nadu government's Advocate General has sought time. The case has been adjourned now, and he would get back with instructions from the government whether they are fine with that or would they insist on she apologizing in the form of a press meet.
Right, Sam, thank you so much for getting us all those details. Moving on now to more news, and this is several weeks after the gruesome rape and murder of a junior doctor in Kolkata's RG Kaur hospital that sparked an outrage across the country. The West Bengal Assembly passed a bill to bring in a new law that ensures the maximum punishment for all rape cases where the punishment will be death penalty or life in jail. The law will also make provision for a time-bound trial and an enhanced compensation of fine. Mamata Banerjee called the law historic, but when will this be implemented is the question, because she still needs the nod of the president.
Guarantee dite hobe immediate execution of this bill.
এটা গ্লোরিফাই করা নয়।
No break from the politics as the West Bengal Legislative Assembly debated a new law to combat sexual crimes like rape. Even as the bill was passed with support from both the opposition and the ruling party, the Trinamool and the BJP took on each other, with the BJP targeting Mamata Banerjee, accusing her of downplaying rapes in the past. Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee hit back, citing incidents in other states.
ক্রস চেক করে আপনি যদি দেখেন কারেক্ট ইনফরমেশন, আই ডোন্ট হ্যাভ এনি প্রবলেম। কিন্তু যদি দেখেন রং ইনফরমেশন, মিসলিডিং ইনফরমেশন, ডিসইনফরমেশন অ্যান্ড ডিস্টর্টেড ইনফরমেশন অ্যান্ড ডিস্ট্রাকটিভ ইনফরমেশন অ্যান্ড প্রভোকেটিভ ইনফরমেশন, দেন স্পিকার হ্যাজ দ্য রাইট টু ডিল ইট। মনে আছে আপনাদের, কেউ তো একবারও স্বীকার করলেন না উন্নাওয়ের কথা। এটা ফ্যাক্ট যে আজকে প্রতিদিন দেশে প্রায় 90টি ধর্ষণের ঘটনা ঘটে, তার মধ্যে অনেকেরই মৃত্যু ঘটে, খুব বেদনাদায়ক। উত্তরপ্রদেশের ঝাঁসিতে চলন্ত গাড়িতে 17 বছরের মেয়ে ধর্ষিতা হয়েছে।
আপনাকে বলি, এই বিল আনার উদ্দেশ্য কি? উদ্দেশ্য হচ্ছে জনমত। সরকার এই বিপুল জনবিক্ষোভ, গণরোষ, ঘৃণা, ক্রোধ এই জায়গা থেকে ইস্যু ডাইভার্ট করতে চাইছেন আপনারা।
As the BJP pushed for immediate implementation of the bill, the Chief Minister asked the Leader of Opposition to ensure the Governor does not delay it. The new law mandates setting up of an Aprajita task force headed by a DSP rank officer. It also mandates completion of the investigation of offences within 21 days and also mandates the maximum punishment for rape, life term or death. Will this bill, which has been passed with political consensus, get assent from the President or Governor, or will it meet the fate of similar bills that have been passed by other states but are still waiting for presidential assent? With camera person GD Shankar in Kolkata, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
And let's just switch tracks to the rain situation in Andhra Pradesh, and heavy rain will continue. There's a yellow category warning that's been issued. This is the biggest disaster I've seen, is what Chandrababu Naidu, the Chief Minister, has gone on to say. 4.5 lakh people have been affected in Andhra Pradesh. At least 17 people have died due to the rain situation in the state. Now, operations are underway as far as the rescue operations are concerned. Huge deployment of drones has been seen in the area. Up to about 60 drones have been used in order to send water, food, as well as last mile connectivity, as far as thousands of homes and vehicles are full of slush and mud. 200 cars have been submerged underwater. From what we are hearing is that rain will continue till about the 7th of September. And to get you a ground report, my colleague Uma Sudhir gets us the details.
Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu, in fact, went for about 3 to 4 hours on a JCB covering about 25 kilometers. He's trying to reach out to the last of the people, he says, to find out whether flood relief material in the form of water or food is reaching those areas. And that's the reason why, without any escort vehicles, in fact, he's going to those areas that are not reachable with any other form of vehicle. And of course, wading through the waters as well, third time running. And I must say, for a 74-year-old, very senior leader, this is something that the people of the area will perhaps remember. A few points that the Chief Minister has made. One, he has said that the dangers in terms of the flooding may, for the time being at least, have receded, because the waters in the Krishna River at Prakasham have receded to about 5 to 6 lakh cusecs, as against more than 11.45 lakh cusecs that he had spoken about just 24 hours earlier, which means the water release that happened from the Prakasham barrage gates has helped, and therefore water should start receding from those areas. The second part is that drones are being used very, very extensively. Yesterday, if about 27 drones were used to reach water and food and other essential things like medicines to people, today 30 more drones are going to be used, so almost 60 drones will be put to use in order to reach the relief material to the people. And the Chief Minister, in fact, saying those drones will be also used to see which are the areas which are badly cut off and where the rescue operations still may need to be carried out. 2 choppers still are around to be able to do that kind of an activity. And he has also said that because there is vast tracts of agricultural land where the crop has been lost, the drones may be used to capture those visuals also to find out the extent of the loss. The third part is about the cleanup operation itself, because thousands of homes and thousands of vehicles as well, two-wheelers, four-wheelers, all of them stuck in the mud, huge amount of slush that is there inside homes and inside the vehicles as well, and some of them in fact buried literally in the sand. That will become very, very difficult to retrieve, and the Chief Minister has now said that the fire department will in fact go and try to help in the cleanup operation inside homes as well, because people, once the water recedes as well, for them to go back to their homes is becoming very, very difficult, and the fire department will help in those operations.
Well, thank you so much, Uma, for getting us that ground report. Switching tracks now to the Prime Minister, who is on his bilateral visit to Brunei. The Prime Minister arrived yesterday to the Omar Al Saifuddin Mosque in Brunei's capital. He also inaugurated a new building at the India's High Commission at the mosque. Mr. Narendra Modi was welcomed by Brunei's Minister of Religious Affairs, with members of the Indian community in attendance. And also today, there are bilateral talks which are underway, and the focus, of course, to know more on this, we have Ghazali joining us. Ghazali, when we talk about the focus as far as the bilateral meeting is concerned, is going to be on defense, trade and investment.
Yes, certainly. And why this trip is significant, or the meeting is significant, because the Indian space industry, or say the space technology, is getting a huge flip from Brunei, because we have got a space tracking station in Brunei, and all our satellite launches eastwards are being tracked from there. So in this particular visit, India is also expecting that they will have a training session. A MOU will be signed where India will be training Brunei in the space tech, and that will also give us a flip, because we already have a ground station in Brunei. And besides the space tech, the talks will also, the MOUs may be signed when it comes to defense cooperation, because India is now aiming to reduce its reliance on any one of the partners for defense procurement. Earlier it was Russia, then we diversified our partnership. We got France and US and Germany, but now India also needs some partners in Asia. That is why this trip is significant, because after Brunei, Indian Prime Minister is also traveling to Singapore. So in this particular visit in Brunei today, when the talks will be held, the Prime Minister will be talking about a defense cooperation. What we are being told by the Ministry of External Affairs is that Brunei and India can also sign for a joint working group when it comes to defense cooperation. Besides defense and space, then we have food and agri-technology, education, science, and these are the key areas in which MOUs are expected to be signed between India and Brunei.
Right. Ghazali, you did mention the Prime Minister this afternoon will be taking off to Singapore, and something that the Prime Minister has gone on to describe would be poised to take their relationship and the ties between the two countries to an entirely new level.
Yes, certainly. And why Singapore is important, we all know it is one of our largest trading partner in ASEAN countries. It was also source of our largest FDI in the last financial year. And besides that, what is also concerning for India is the growing influence of China. And both Brunei and Singapore are relatively very different, because Singapore happens to be an ASEAN country, which is the source of our largest FDI, and Brunei happens to be an ASEAN partner, which is the least, which has got the least FDI turnover for India. So for both the countries, both the countries' significance for India is that through cooperation with both these countries in ASEAN, India is also going to counter the growing influence of China in the South China Sea. The geostrategic location of Brunei and the standing of Singapore in Asia is something which is very relevant for India to have these countries on its side at a time when global conflict is rising, and India wants to take everyone along. India is being considered the voice of global South, and if you see in the last 100 days of this government, the government of India or its foreign policy is focused on bringing the neighborhood closer to India, as well as in the larger perspective of peace and maritime security in the Asia Pacific. India is also trying to reach out to its distant neighbors, the neighbors who are located far away from India in the South Asia region, and that is why this trip to Brunei and Singapore is very relevant.
Right. Thank you so much, Ghazali. We will keep tracking that story and coming back to you for more on that. And switching tracks now to the Paralympics in Paris, and India took their medal tally to 20, the highest ever in a single edition of Paralympics. Before this, their best performance had taken place in Tokyo, where India won 19 medals. Well, it is Sharad Kumar who won silver, while Mariyappan Thangavelu claimed bronze in men's high jump event. On the other hand, Ajit Singh and Sundar Singh Gurjar clinch silver and bronze respectively in javelin throw final. Deepti Jeevanji won the 400 meters bronze, and of course earlier shooter Avani Lekhara, who already won a gold medal, finished 5th in the women's 50-meter rifle.
जो आपका जो ट्रेडमार्क है गोल्ड और रिकॉर्ड, वो आपने बरकरार रखा।
काफ़ी खुशी है कि पैरालंपिक रिकॉर्ड के साथ में गोल्ड मेडल लेके आए देश के लिए, और काफ़ी प्राउड फील कर रहा हूँ, काफ़ी ब्लेस्ड फील कर रहा हूँ कि मेरे को ऐसी टीम मिली है जो हर टाइम मेरे साथ खड़ी रहती है।
क्या बात है, ये बहुत बड़ी बात है। कोच साहब, जैवलिन चाहे कोई भी लोग बाहर से लगता है कि एक प्लेयर फेंक रहा है, लेकिन बहुत बड़ी टीम है। और मैं विपिन के बारे में बात करूंगा। विपिन की जैसी तारीफ सुमित मुझसे कर रहे थे, वो कमाल की बात है। पहले भी हम लोग बात कर रहे थे कि गोल्ड आना चाहिए, रनवे आपको पसंद था, लेकिन यहाँ रनवे वैसा तो नहीं था।
नहीं, रनवे एक्चुअली क्या है कि रनवे जो ये सेकेंडरी रनवे है, जो मेन रनवे है वो उस तरफ है।
मैं नीरज फेंका था वो ऑपोजिट साइड।
हाँ जी, वो अपोजिट साइड है। तो इस रनवे का हमें कोई आइडिया नहीं था। वो रनवे बहुत अच्छा था, पर इधर से कराया तो हमने फिर भी अपना 100% देने की कोशिश की। और ठीक है, एक बहुत अच्छी थ्रो है 70+, और उसके साथ ओलंपिक रिकॉर्ड करना एक
और वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप से ज़्यादा है ना?
ज़्यादा तो चलो बहुत ज़्यादा उम्मीदें थी, उधर से होता तो और अच्छी भी हो जाती।
अच्छा, स्पोर्ट्स में हमेशा कुछ बाकी रहना चाहिए ताकि अगले ओलंपिक्स में
बिल्कुल कोशिश करेंगे कि आने वाली चैंपियनशिप में इससे और अच्छा बेहतर परफॉर्म करेंगे।
अच्छा, आप विपिन के बारे में बहुत तारीफ कर रहे थे, लोगों को आप बताएं। आपने तो जो मुझे बताया वो अलग बात है। एक फिजियो का कितना इम्पोर्टेंट।
बिल्कुल, मेरे को काफ़ी टाइम से इंजरी चल रही थी और मैं काफ़ी पेन में था, तो विपिन भाई से मिला मैं, और कोबे से थोड़ी दिन पहले मिला था।
कोबे मतलब वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप
मई में थी जो, और उसके बाद काफ़ी अच्छा ट्रेनिंग कर पाया हूँ मैं, ऑल थैंक्स टू माय टीम।
क्या विपिन बताइए, क्या इनको प्रॉब्लम थी, कैसे ठीक करते हैं आप? इनको जादू है तो हम लोगों को भी ठीक कीजिए।
नहीं, इनको काफ़ी लास्ट 3 ईयर से स्पाइन की इंजरी थी और सीवियर थी। तो प्रॉब्लम ये थी कि इंजरी तो रिकवर कर जाए, बट साथ के साथ इंजरी डेली भी डेवलप कर रही थी गेम के साथ साथ, क्योंकि इनका जो एम्पुटेड लेग है उसके साथ साथ इनकी लोडिंग जो है स्पाइन पे आनी ही थी, जानी ही थी। ये सर मेरे पास आए मई में, तो मई में हम लोगों के पास फिर कोबे में वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप भी थी, बहुत ज़्यादा समय नहीं था, तो ज़्यादा रेस्ट ना लेते हुए गेम भी कंटिन्यू रखा, साथ के साथ हीलिंग चलती रही। अभी फ़िलहाल में 90% के करीब रिकवरी थी, तो हमारा मेन तो यही था मिशन कि पेरिस 2024।
मतलब तो कमाल की बात है, अभी ये 100% फिट नहीं है, गोल्ड मेडल रिकॉर्ड के बावजूद पूरी तरह खुश नहीं है, रनवे ठीक नहीं था। ये सुमित ही इतना हम्बल और ह्यूमिलिटी के साथ
देखिए सर, काफ़ी उम्मीदें मेरे को ज़्यादा थी, मैं सच बताऊं। मीटर्स की बात करें तो
बिल्कुल,
और बाकी गोल्ड से काफ़ी खुश हूँ मैं, और लकीली
बैक टू बैक गोल्ड।
हाँ, बट लकीली यहाँ पे पैरालंपिक्स जैसी स्टेज पे कुछ भी चीज़ वो नहीं होती, कोई श्योर नहीं होती। और मेरे को पर्सनली बहुत प्रेशर था आपकी बार, जिस तरह से मेरे को, मैं सच बताऊंगा, बहुत ज़्यादा प्रेशर।
क्या है पार्टी का, क्या प्लान है, क्या खाना है? जल्दी।
अभी तो कुछ प्लान नहीं है।
नहीं, पार्टी का प्लान तो है।
नहीं अभी तो कुछ प्लान नहीं है, बट देखते हैं, विलेज में जाके डिस्कस करेंगे।
And let's just switch tracks now to Uttarakhand, where snowfall has been reported. These are fresh visuals of snowfall reported in the Chamoli district, a fresh coat of white with snowfall in the Chamoli district of Uttarakhand. And with that, we're slipping into a very short break. News and updates will continue on the other side. To stay with us.
Hello, Moto.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
New day, new show, a new experience.
Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your life.
News that informs and keeps you ahead.
From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of power, Delhi,
NDTV brings you the best breakfast show.
Breakfast news on NDTV, 8 a.m. every day.
Hi, I'm Shreya Saran. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate. Let's rebuild Wayanad.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. "10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgency, to stop breathing with difficulty, to relieve getting choked with inactivity. Energize our government, our environment, our society, and ourselves. Everyone, everywhere, every day. Banega Swasth India. One world hygiene.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
New day, new show, a new experience.
Start your day with
The Bombay High Court is expected to hear a plea on the film emergency. Z Entertainment moves the High Court over film certification. The plea alleges CBFC illegally withheld the certification. A two-judge bench will hear the matter today. The Union Home Ministry tells the Supreme Court that West Bengal government has adopted a blatant, non-cooperative approach towards CISF, tasked by the Supreme Court to provide security to the RG Kar Medical College and Hospital following the rape murder of a doctor on its premises. The Home Ministry also says West Bengal government should extend its support. The Mollywood Me Too storm continues to escalate. Now Malayalam actor Alencia Key Lopez has been booked for allegedly sexually assaulting an actress back in 2017 in Bengaluru. Actor Naveen Pauly has also been booked for rape. The Prime Minister is in Brunei to boost strategic ties. He will be at the Sultan of Brunei's residence later today, after which he will head to Singapore. India makes Paralympics history with 20 medals. The India contingent surpasses the Tokyo performance. 10 a.m. You are watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Parmeshwar Bava. Our big focus at the moment, well, details have emerged regarding the Bombay High Court hearing of the film Emergency. Z Entertainment Enterprises and the makers of the film Emergency have moved the Bombay High Court seeking a direction to the CBFC to issue a certificate for the film. In fact, Z has petitioned the Bombay High Court seeking an official copy of the film's certification from the CBFC and further claimed that despite being informed of the film's certification on the 29th of August, the CBFC is yet to provide a formal copy of the certification. The plea also alleges that CBFC has illegally withheld the certification and Z is seeking urgent relief from court, and the court has agreed to hear the plea today. Let's go across to my colleague Radhika Ramaswamy, who's tracking the latest details for us. Radhika, take us through what the producers of the film are alleging and what time is the case coming up in the Bombay High Court?
That's right. The division bench of the Bombay High Court will be hearing this plea filed by Z Entertainment. It will be heard at about 11 a.m. or perhaps post that before a division bench. Now, Z Entertainment had approached the court yesterday, in fact, seeking directions to the CBFC to release the certificate of the film. To release the certification of the film is the, sort of prayer that has been sought by Z Entertainment. It states that the certification was given. In fact, they had announced the certification of the film sometime in August 29, but however, the entire certificate was withheld from the filmmakers, which is why now the filmmakers are seeking that particular physical copy of the certificate, saying that it has been deliberately withheld, which is illegal and arbitrary. So that is the claim that has been made as part of the petition. They've sought urgent relief. They also claim that without the certification, they cannot go ahead with the screening of the film. And it is interesting because before the Madhya Pradesh High Court, there were multiple petitions filed by Sikh organizations who had, of course, taken objection to the film, after which, of course, the Madhya Pradesh High Court asking the CBFC to consider all these objections and then take a stand, to which, of course, the CBFC had told the High Court there that we had, in fact, not given certification to the film. That is something that is being considered. In the initial days, of course, there was some sort of certification that was given, but that has been withheld post the objections. So therefore, the objections are being reconsidered once again, so which is why now it has been withheld. So against which, of course, now the makers have approached the Bombay High Court. Remains to be seen whether any sort of relief will be given. Remember, this film is embroiled in all kinds of controversies, with many organizations claiming that historical facts are wrong. The Sikh community has taken offense to it, stating that most of the portrayal of the characters are inappropriate. So these are the claims being made, which is why multiple petitions there. Now we'll have to wait and see whether Bombay High Court will in fact give that direction to the CBFC to release the certification of the film. If that does happen, then it is some sort of relief, but all that is something we will get to know in a couple of hours. But the filmmakers really trying their luck at this point to ensure that film releases on the scheduled day, which is September 6th.
As always, Radhika, thanks so much for joining us with the latest details. With that, let's turn our attention now to West Bengal. Well, in the latest flashpoint between Bengal's ruling Trinamool Congress and the Bharatiya Janata Party, the centre has now gone to the Supreme Court, contending that the Bengal government must provide proper facilities for the CISF personnel who have been delegated to ensure security at the RG Kar hospital. Anything less, it said, would amount to contempt of court and action should be initiated. In fact, in its petition filed before the Supreme Court, the Ministry of Home Affairs said the troops are currently staying at the city's CISF unit in the city suburbs. They have to travel for 1 hour to reach the hospital. The Supreme Court has said the centre has filed a fresh plea against the West Bengal government.
This is a plea that has come from the Home Ministry against, as you rightly pointed out, the West Bengal government. Call it Amit Shah versus Mamata Banerjee or whatever you may. The fact is that this is in compliance with the Supreme Court norms and the Supreme Court direction to have CISF at RG Kar. That was the direction, that was the clear thing. Whether this comes in a grey area, whether they have to provide, accommodation to the CISF staff, the security gadgets, those are certain things that we'll have to wait and watch and see whether the MHA plea is accepted by the Supreme Court. Because how does a state government, which does not have the required accommodation provided to the CISF, just because of a direction that you have to take over the security of the hospital, it can be within a distance of a few meters. How long is this CISF deployment? Is it going to be on a continuous basis, just because the Chief Justice and his bench have decided? Is it going to be for months or years? Those are certain directions have to be taken. It's in that context we'll have to wait and see how things play out. It's definitely a huge contention, because please remember, in the Constitution of India, law and order is number one. It's because of the Supreme Court direction that CISF has taken over the RG car. But does it mean that they have to also provide accommodation? Do they have to also provide the equipment and the security apparatus that the CISF requires? Who pays for that? All these issues need to be resolved, and we'll get further clarity once the Supreme Court takes up this matter.
Weeks after the gruesome rape and murder of a junior doctor in Kolkata's RG Kar Hospital that sparked outrage across the country, the West Bengal Assembly passed a bill to bring in a new law that ensures the maximum punishment for all rape cases, where the punishment will be death penalty or life in jail. The law will also have provisions for a time-bound trial and an enhanced compensation or fine. Mamata Banerjee has called the law historic, but when will it be implemented? Well, here are the finer details for you.
Guarantee dite hobe immediate execution of this bill.
এটা glorify করার নয়, আপনাদের প্রধানমন্ত্রীকে
No break from the politics as the West Bengal Legislative Assembly debated a new law to combat sexual crimes like rape. Even as the bill was passed with support from both the opposition and the ruling party, the Trinamool and the BJP took on each other, with the BJP targeting Mamata Banerjee, accusing her of downplaying rapes in the past. Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee hit back, citing incidents in other states.
চেক করে আপনি যদি দেখেন কারেক্ট ইনফরমেশন, আই ডোন্ট হ্যাভ এনি প্রবলেম। কিন্তু যদি দেখেন রং ইনফরমেশন, মিসলিডিং ইনফরমেশন, ডিসইনফরমেশন অ্যান্ড ডিস্টর্টেড ইনফরমেশন অ্যান্ড ডিস্ট্রাকটিভ ইনফরমেশন অ্যান্ড প্রভোকেটিভ ইনফরমেশন, দেন স্পিকার হ্যাজ দ্য রাইট টু ডিল ইট। মনে আছে আপনাদের, কেউ তো একবারও স্বীকার করলেন না উন্নাওয়ের কথা। এটা ফ্যাক্ট যে আজকে প্রতিদিন দেশে প্রায় 90টি ধর্ষণের ঘটনা ঘটে, তার মধ্যে অনেকেরই মৃত্যু ঘটে, খুব বেদনাদায়ক। উত্তরপ্রদেশের ঝাঁসিতে চলন্ত গাড়িতে 17 বছরের মেয়ে ধর্ষিতা হয়েছে।
আপনাকে বলি, এই বিল আনার উদ্দেশ্য কি? উদ্দেশ্য হচ্ছে জনমত। সরকার এই বিপুল জনবিক্ষোভ, গণরোষ, ঘৃণা, ক্রোধ, এই জায়গা থেকে ইস্যু ডাইভার্ট করতে চাইছেন আপনারা।
As the BJP pushed for immediate implementation of the bill, the Chief Minister asked the Leader of Opposition to ensure the Governor does not delay it. The new law mandates setting up of an Aparajita task force headed by a DSP rank officer. It also mandates completion of the investigation of offences within 21 days and also mandates the maximum punishment for rape, life term or death. Will this bill, which has been passed with political consensus, get assent from the President or Governor, or will it meet the fate of similar bills that have been passed by other states but are still waiting for presidential assent? With camera person G.D. Shankar in Kolkata, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
By the way, Union Minister Kiran Rijiju has slammed West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee over an old letter sent to her government seeking fast-track special courts for cases of rape and those registered under the POCSO Act. In the letter dated 11th of November 2018, Mr. Rijiju sought the Mamata Banerjee government's intervention in the establishment of FTSCs for quick trial and disposal of pending rape as well as POCSO Act cases as far as West Bengal is concerned. In fact, Saurabh joins us with a quick update at the moment. Saurabh, Mr. Rijiju's remarks come after the Bengal Assembly unanimously passed this bill?
That's right, and of course there has been some talk and also some allegations and counter-allegations regarding these fast-track courts. Now, fast-track courts are something that have been in the pipeline for years now. While, the BJP, not just Mr. Rijiju, but others within the BJP as well, Mr. Rijiju has, of course, shared that letter that he shared when he was law minister. But apart from that, there have been others as well who also have, commented on this, including BJP MLA Ognimitra Paul, who also mentioned similar figures in the assembly during that debate on that law. And the Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has also responded saying fast-track courts have been set up, though the numbers seem to be something that is a matter of debate between the BJP and the Trinamool. But yes, there has to be enough fast-track courts, and there seems to be consensus on that. How many have been set up, how many have not been set up? That's where the disagreement and the debate is. And the union, the former union law minister and of course the current union minister Kiran Rijiju flagging this issue of that letter that he wrote earlier, and also the Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee responding to that in the assembly, also sharing details of the fast-track courts that the government had set up.
As always, Saurabh, thank you so much for joining us with the latest details. With that, let's turn our attention now to Bombay, where the High Court, while hearing the suo motu PIL regarding sexual assault of 2 kindergarten students in a school in Badlapur, Thane, reiterated that the Maharashtra government must teach the boys about the right and wrong, saying Beta Padhao or Beti Bachao, which translates to educate the son to protect the daughter. This has reiterated the need to teach the boys at a younger stage on respecting women and girls, because 2 girls, as you know, aged 3 and 4, were sexually assaulted by a cleaning staffer in a girls' toilet in Maharashtra's Thane district. Massive outrage was seen at the Badlapur station in Thane as protesters held a rail roko protest, which we extensively covered with Radhika as well. In fact, Radhika joins us at the moment live for an update. Radhika, what further details can you disclose as we speak?
Bombay High Court yesterday continued to hear the suo motu PIL file as far as the Badlapur case is concerned, where 2 kids were sexually assaulted by a cleaner from their school. Of course, this man has been arrested, but a suo motu PIL at the moment being heard by the Bombay High Court. It was the 3rd hearing yesterday in which the court did make certain pertinent observations as far as the investigations are concerned, but more than that, also gave directions as far as the committee formation is concerned. It directed the state government to form a committee, of course, but headed by 2 retired justices, 2 retired Bombay High Court judges should preside over the committee, is the direction given by the Bombay High Court. And besides that, also spoke about how it is pertinent, it is important for men, for boys to be educated and to be aware of equality, gender equality and respect for women and so on. So which is why it spoke about Beta Padhao, Beti Bachao. So that's a phrase that has been used by the Bombay High Court division bench yesterday while it was hearing the suo motu PIL. In a way, not just focusing on the investigations part, while it did pull up the state government to the police over the shoddy investigation that it carried out, be it in terms of the delay in FIR, be it in terms of nabbing the accused and the case diary and all the procedures that were followed. The court was not happy about it. But more than that, it spoke about how there needs to be a societal change, a fundamental change in the way, things are on ground, the mindset change, education, awareness among men, among boys from childhood. These are things that the Bombay High Court division bench focused on, which is why this committee has been formed, which is why it is emphasizing on some fundamental steps that need to be taken for a larger holistic change in the society so that such incidents do not happen. Now, of course, the committee report will be submitted before the court in 8 weeks' time, and the matter will continue to be heard in the form of this suo motu PIL after 4 weeks.
As always, Radhika, thanks so much for joining us with the latest update. Well, switching tracks now, an FIR has been filed against actor Alencia Le Lopez for sexual misconduct based on the complaint made by a junior artist. The offence allegedly took place in a hotel in Bengaluru on multiple occasions between the year 2017 and 2018. A case has been filed against actor Alencia now. The Ernakulam police has registered a case on the complaint of the young actress, and the complaint clearly says Alencia sexually assaulted her in Bangalore in 2017. And now we're told a special investigation team will conduct the investigation. But meanwhile, an FIR has also been registered against Malayalam film star Nivin Pauly, who's 40 years old, in Kerala's Ernakulam district, based on a complaint filed by a woman. The actor on Tuesday actually denied the charges and said that he will go to any extent to fight the case. In her complaint, though, the woman claimed that she was cheated on promises that she would be given a chance to act in films. She also claimed that she was sexually assaulted outside India by a group of 6 people, including Mr. Pauly, in Dubai. The police has registered an FIR against the actor under various sections. In fact, this includes sections 376. And as per the complaint, the incident happened in November last year in a hotel in Dubai. The complainant has alleged that the actor, Nivin Pauly, and 5 others, including producer A.K. Sunil, sexually assaulted her on the promise of a film role.
So Nivin Pauly is a big star, the Premam star as he's called. He had starred along with Sai Pallavi in that film, and of course several other successful films, and he has in fact alleged some kind of a conspiracy because of which he is being named in this particular case by an actress. And he in fact held a press conference yesterday and said that I want to put this out in the public domain, saying that I have no reason to believe that I have done anything wrong at all, and therefore I am going to go to the bottom of this. What he has said is that he is going to take this up legally because he believes that there is a conspiracy. In this particular case, he has been named as an accused number 6 by the police. In this case, the accused number 1 incidentally happens to be a woman called Shreya, who is supposed to have taken this victim survivor to another place where she was offered a role, and subsequently other than the producer as well in this case, who's been booked as accused number 2 in this case, and subsequently Nivin Pauly becoming accused number 6. All these are non-bailable cases, and that's the reason why many of them we are seeing, like Siddiq and Ranjit as well, have gone to the court seeking orders against their arrest on the basis of the complaints that are being made. Mr. Ranjit was in fact the first of the actors to be named in these cases. He has in fact gone to court saying that he is not just not guilty in this case, but he has also said that he has several ailments, including a liver transplant that he had undergone, and therefore he should not be arrested in this particular case. I must point out not just the Me Too allegations in the sexual harassment case in the film industry, there is some other big drive that's happening in Kerala, and that is against child pornography. An operation that is being called P, that is something that is in fact led to the arrest of as many as 37 people. Raids and searches are being carried out everywhere against people who are in fact looking at this or storing this or sharing this. As you know, child pornography is also a big area of concern, and that's a crackdown that the Kerala government is also undertaking at the same time, because attitudes that are formed about sexual perversion or about respect neither to a woman, it could be a man as well, or a child, all those cases in a sense, should I say, being looked at by the Kerala government and the authorities there.
Let's turn our attention now to Jammu and Kashmir, where the Congress is expected to kick off the election campaign in the poll-bound state. In fact, Rahul Gandhi will launch his party's campaign in Kashmir, while Allied National Conference's Vice President Omar Abdullah is expected to file for nomination for polls today. As we've been informing you, Jammu and Kashmir will witness polls in 3 phases. In fact, 2 mega public rallies are planned in the Ramban and Anantnag districts as we speak. Big day for the Congress. Meanwhile, I must inform you that Mehbooba Mufti has clearly said that there is no scope for a tie-up with the BJP. The PDP chief just ruled out any tie-up with the BJP in Jammu and Kashmir, while asserting that the government formation after the assembly polls would not be possible without the inclusion of her party. In fact, hitting out at Omar Abdullah's national conference, she claimed that the party wants to contest elections just for the sake of government formation. Nazir Masoodi has been tracking the latest developments for us in Jammu and Kashmir. He joins us live at the moment. Nazir, 2 mega rallies planned in the Ramban and Anantnag districts today?
Yeah, exactly. Rahul Gandhi will keep starting his election campaigning for assembly elections in Jammu and Kashmir today. First, he is addressing a rally in a place called Sangaldan, which is part of the Banihal Assembly constituency, where Congress candidate is Vikar Rasulwani, former Congress PCC chief. And interestingly, Rahul Gandhi has to strike a fine balance during his speech because he cannot attack his opponent, since he is the alliance partner, and it is a friendly contest between National Conference and Congress in Banihal constituency. So see, their main rival is Sajjad Shaheen, National Conference leader. But once he finished that rally and he comes to Duru, he is expected to be joined by Farooq Abdullah. And Rahul Gandhi will be campaigning for Ghulam Ahmad Mir. He is the former JKPCC chief and also in charge, General Secretary in charge, Jharkhand and West Bengal for the Congress party. So the senior leader of the Congress. So this is the first, major rallies by Congress as election has started. BJP is also senior top leaders, including Prime Minister Modi, are coming to visiting Jammu and Kashmir next week to kickstart their election campaign in Jammu and Kashmir. And besides this, Congress rallies, Umar Abdullah is also filing his nomination papers from Ganderbal Assembly segment, which is the family constituency of Abdullahs, and 3 generations of Abdullahs have contested elections from Ganderbal, and it is the 3rd time Umar Abdullah will be contesting from Ganderbal Assembly constituency. So elections, fever is there. We know people are eagerly waiting to cast their vote because it is an election which has happened after a long gap of 10 years. And all the political parties and large number of even independents are participating, including those who are linked to separatist groups like the Islamist groups like Jamaat Islami. Other people, even those who are in jail, are trying their luck in these elections as well.
Thanks so much, Nazir, as always, for joining us with the latest. We will, of course, revert to you for regular updates. With that, let's turn our attention now to battleground Haryana. Well, according to sources, the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party have reached a principal understanding to fight next month's Haryana Assembly election together. Now, the challenging task of deciding on the seats between the parties. Congress offers 7, the Aam Aadmi Party demands 10. Sources say that in the early exchanges, the Aam Aadmi Party has demanded 10 seats, while the Congress is willing to give between 5 and 7 only. The Congress is reportedly also willing to give 1 seat to the Samajwadi Party of ex-Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav. And let's turn our attention now to the Maha seat sharing. Well, after marathon meetings, Maha, the NDA alliance, is likely to finalize seats in the next 2 weeks. Now, out of the total 288 constituencies in the state, the BJP is likely to contest around 160 seats. Shinde Sena could get around 70 seats, and Ajit Pawar's NCP could get around 50 seats. Ajit Pawar has, however, sought 60 seats under pressure from his party leaders. Radhika Ramaswamy has been tracking the latest developments for us. She joins us with the lowdown. Radhika, what can you share with us at the moment?
That's right. As far as ruling Mahayuti, which is the NDA coalition, is concerned in Maharashtra, they've been having marathon meetings over the last several weeks, be it with the CEC or with the central leadership. There had been multiple gatherings of all the top leaders within BJP, Sena and NCP. Looks like the final seat sharing will be out in a couple of weeks. Now, what we are hearing is that of the 288 strength assembly, 160 seats may go to BJP. So, BJP could take the largest chunk as far as the assembly elections in Maharashtra are concerned in the Mahayuti equation. And Shiv Sena may take about 70 to 80 is what we are hearing. As far as Ajit Pawar NCP, which is not looking good at the negotiation table is concerned, may have about 50 seats, although it wants to contest at least about 60 seats in the assembly elections. Now, we know for a fact that Shiv Sena had a better strike rate when it came to Lok Sabha elections. It performed better than both the BJP as well as NCP in the Mahayuti equation, yet it may not get the largest chunk. BJP continues to be the big brother. NCP did not have the best strike rate. Still, it wants more seats as it is under pressure from several of the party workers as well as party cadres. There are going to be churns within NCP. We did see how many of the NCP workers and leaders players did shift sides to Sharad Pawar camp, and that could continue to happen in the days to come. At this point, of course, the Mahayuti is trying to reduce disputes and bickering as far as seats are concerned, because it did cost them dear during Lok Sabha. There was a lot of bickering which led to delay in the announcement of seats as well as candidates. That really cost them a victory in Lok Sabha elections, which they don't want to repeat at this time, which is why early meetings happening. There could be announcements also happening very soon. Winnability is a factor that is considered, but there are internal disputes certainly. But at this point, of course, Mahayuti trying to reduce these disputes as much as possible so that the Lok Sabha results don't get repeated in assembly elections.
Thanks so much, Radhika, for joining us with the lowdown. In other news, last night a 27-year-old woman died after being hit by a speeding car in Malad in Mumbai. And after the accident, an angry mob also thrashed the driver of the Ford. In fact, a speeding car hit the 27-year-old woman, and the woman died after the drunk driver rammed the car. Well, with that, let's turn our attention now to the national capital, where the president has delegated more powers to the Delhi Lieutenant Governor. Now the Lieutenant Governor can appoint members to boards as well as commissions. In fact, Draupadi Murmu delegated Delhi's Lieutenant Governor Vinay Kumar Saxena the power to form and appoint members to any authority, board, commission or statutory board under laws enacted by Parliament for the capital. This is what the Ministry of Home Affairs has also confirmed. The new presidential order is likely to trigger a fresh showdown between the Lieutenant Governor V.K. Saxena and the ruling Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi ahead of next year's assembly polls. Meanwhile, voting began at the MCD headquarters. The election is being held today for the post of chairman, vice chairman and 12 members of the standing committee in the 12 zones. But it seems it's the Delhi LG versus the mayor in these MCD Ward committee polls. In fact, after a 19-month delay, the Municipal Corporation of Delhi's Ward Committee elections are taking place today. Until late on Tuesday, confusion actually prevailed over whether the polls would take place on time, with Mayor Shelley Oberoi refusing to appoint presiding officers and directing MCD Commissioner Ashwani Kumar to allow at least 1 week more for filing nomination. For the latest, let's go across to my colleague Tanushka Datta, who joins us live. Tanushka, what details can you disclose?
Parmeshwar, well, as you mentioned, the Delhi Lieutenant Governor has been sought with the provisions, or rather the powers to, preside over or appoint members as well as form members into these authority bodies, into these boards, as well as, he's also called in the elections which were over a suspense. As you mentioned, for the past 19 months, it was in complete suspense that when would these MCD elections happen, which is currently undergoing right now at the Civic Centre. What we know as of now is that the Aam Aadmi Party has, gotten 5 members, whereas the BJP stands with 2 members. Ankush Narang of the Aam Aadmi Party stands unopposed member of the Standing Committee from Karol Bagh Zone, and Punardeep Singh Saini of the Aam Aadmi Party again has been declared unopposed member of the Standing Committee from City SP Zone. So a total of 5 members as of now at Aam Aadmi Party, with Aam Aadmi Party, and 2 with BJP. What we know is that this voting and these elections were announced by the Delhi Lieutenant Governor last night, where after the MCD Commissioner wrote to the Delhi LG seeking directions from him after no decision being taken by the Mayor of Delhi, Shelley Oberoi, which is when the MCD Commissioner wrote to the Delhi LG seeking for directions after the President Draupadi Murmu exercised these powers onto the Delhi LG to appoint or to declare such elections. Therefore, this is an overriding of the Delhi LG of the mayor as well, and he took on his constitutional as well as statutory powers and declared that the elections will happen today itself as decided, and the elections are also currently going on for the vice chairman as well as the chairman and 12 members of the Standing Committee of the Municipal Corporation of Delhi. Back to you.
As always, Tanushka, thanks so much for joining us with the latest details from Ground Zero. With that, let's turn our attention now to Andhra Pradesh, where massive relief work continues as an aftermath of the devastating floods there. In fact, the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh has said this is the biggest disaster he has ever seen. 4.15 lakh people are affected in the state, and at least 17 people have lost their lives, unfortunately. Uma Sudhir has the finer details for you.
Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu, in fact, went for about 3 to 4 hours on a JCB covering about 25 kilometers. He's trying to reach out to the last of the people, he says, to find out whether flood relief material in the form of water or food is reaching those areas. And that's the reason why, without any escort vehicles, in fact, he's going to those areas that are not reachable with any other form of vehicle. And of course, wading through the waters as well, third time running. And I must say, for a 74-year-old, very senior leader, this is something that the people of the area will perhaps remember. A few points that the Chief Minister has made. One, he has said that the dangers in terms of the flooding may, for the time being at least, have receded, because the waters in the Krishna River at Prakasham have receded to about 5 to 6 lakh cusecs, as against more than 11.45 lakh cusecs that he had spoken about just 24 hours earlier, which means the water release that happened from the Prakasham barrage gates has helped, and therefore water should start receding from those areas. The second part is that drones are being used very, very extensively. Yesterday, if about 27 drones were used to reach water and food and other essential things like medicines to people, today 30 more drones are going to be used, so almost 60 drones will be put to use in order to reach the relief material to the people. And the Chief Minister, in fact, saying...
Well, we have news coming in for you at the moment. Prime Minister Modi, who's on a 2-day visit to Brunei, is currently meeting a delegation there. We have live visuals coming in of his meeting with the Sultan of Brunei. On his visit to the Southeast Asian nation, the focus has actually been on trade, on culture, on tech, on gas and oil, as well as energy. In fact, the Prime Minister is meeting the Sultan Hassan Al Bolkiah, the ruler of Brunei, at his official residence. That's located near Brunei's capital. And where they are meeting, it's the world's largest residential palace, and it has also been registered in the Guinness World Records as the world's largest palace. The Prime Minister in Brunei there, as you can see, live shots coming in of our External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar as well. This is a historic visit, as this is the first time an Indian Prime Minister has touched down in Brunei. Right, the Prime Minister is currently meeting officials, and the focus is currently on space, healthcare, defense and tech. I must inform you that even though Brunei has a significant population of about a small population, it has a footprint of Indians that amounts to around 14,000. So there are about 14,000 Indians who call Brunei home. They have significantly contributed not just to the healthcare sector, but they have also contributed significantly to the education sector. In fact, Indians are celebrated there for their significant contributions, and their contributions have also been acknowledged over the years. The first ever bilateral trip by an Indian Prime Minister to Brunei. Now, earlier as well, our Prime Minister Manmohan Singh had been to Brunei, but that was not for a bilateral visit. It was either to attend conferences like the ASEAN. In fact, Mr. Hamid Ansari has also touched down in the Southeast Asian nation. But this is the first bilateral visit by an Indian Prime Minister. He is on a 2-day visit to Brunei. And after this, he will be heading to Singapore for the next 24 hours. My colleague Mohammad Ghazali has been tracking this visit very closely. He joins us at the moment. Ghazali, take us through what's happening at the moment.
See, the Prime Minister is now meeting the Sultan of Brunei at his palace now, and and after this meeting, the Prime Minister is meeting Sultan Haji Hassan Al Bolkiah, who is the Sultan of Brunei right now, at his royal palace. And after that, the Prime Minister will also be holding the bilateral talks. That's the most important part, where all the issues of India's cooperation with Brunei in all existing sectors, including defense cooperation, trade and investment, energy, space technology, health cooperation, capacity building, culture, and people-to-people exchanges, and explore avenues for cooperation in newer sectors, is is what will be the focus of these talks. And we have already reiterated that how Brunei is an important partner in India's Act East policy and Indo-Pacific vision. Also, the Indian Prime Minister or the Indian government is looking to diversify its reliance when it comes to energy needs, and that is why Brunei is also very important. In the key area of maritime security, India-Brunei's cooperation is seen as part of security and growth for all in the region, which is also called Sagar Vision of India. And Brunei presents investment opportunities, particularly in enhancing its deep water Muara port, which could offer India the geostrategic and geoeconomic benefits. The Prime Minister's visit or the meetings today will also bolster the bilateral trade, defense and cultural exchanges. Why the cultural exchanges or the Indian diaspora is important there? Because we know it's a tiny nation with around 4 to 5 billion population and million population, and out of that around 14,000 are Indians who are holding notable positions in notable professions. So that is why this entire meeting today, the bilateral talks will be focusing on multiple areas, because this is the first diplomatic visit by an Indian Prime Minister or a bilateral visit by an Indian Prime Minister to Brunei. Brunei happens to be also one of the partners from where we are importing hydrocarbon. Also, India is looking forward that in years to come Brunei may happen to be one of our sources for energy needs. And the MEA or the External Affairs Ministry had issued a statement saying that perhaps Brunei could be a partner in providing us natural gas in future. So all these areas, be it the space technology, be it energy sector, be it defense cooperation, and other sectors like education, people-to-people exchanges, would be the focus of this meeting, which the Prime Minister will be undertaking after this meet.
Right, this visit is amid 40 years of India-Brunei ties. Ghazali, also after the Prime Minister wraps up his meeting with the Sultan of Brunei, take us through his agenda for Singapore as well.
So after this meeting, the Prime Minister will be planning for Singapore, and why that visit is more important. Both the visits are important, and see, there is a difference between both the countries, because Singapore happens to be the largest source of our FDI in the last financial year. It's also our largest trading partner as far as ASEAN is concerned, while Brunei happens to be the country, an ASEAN partner, which gives us the lowest FDI. So the Prime Minister is visiting both the countries. When it comes to Singapore, the relevance is that Singapore has huge Indian diaspora. Besides that, we have very close cooperation with Singapore in multiple areas, and this time around, after this visit of Prime Minister, perhaps our comprehensive strategic partnership is going to be the level of our cooperation with Singapore. And besides this, we'll have talks about defense cooperation. The visit of Prime Minister also comes just a week after we had the ministerial roundtable dialogue between India and Singapore, when three ministers from India, Mr. Ashwini Vaishnav, External Affairs Minister Mr. Jaishankar, as well as Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman and Trade Minister Piyush Goyal. They visited last week to Singapore to hold dialogues with their counterparts in Singapore, and this visit was on the card. So Prime Minister will only going to bolster our entire partnership with Singapore, which is already very strong, to yet another level, and we are going to see much more deeper cooperation between India and Singapore when it comes to multiple sectors.
Right, well, India has been vocal, and the MEA said they'd like to have a more predictable hydrocarbon supplies with longer-term contracts from Brunei, especially in the area of gas. But Ghazali, bilateral trade between both our countries, it witnessed a close to $330 million dip from 2021. This was obviously against the backdrop of India actually sourcing oil from Russia and less from Brunei. Has that ruffled any feathers there?
Yeah, so that is one particular area which saw the dip, because India was purchasing oil from Russia, and to revive that entire trade with Brunei when it comes to the oil or natural gas purchase from Brunei, this visit is very critical, because India wants to revive that trade with Brunei. And why this is happening? Because, you know, when it comes to defense or energy needs of India, we have been diversifying our partners. We used to rely on one partner in Europe, like we have Russia, from where our defense purchases used to happen. We diversified towards Germany, US, even UK. But now when it comes to energy needs, India also wants to have partners in the closer neighborhood in Asia. And that is why Brunei is very important when it comes to energy needs. We have seen the kind of criticism India was facing, or the scrutiny India was facing when India developed close relations with Russia, though MEA says that it's our own standing, whether